Chapter 396. How could you bite the hand that fed you? You. Taizao was filled with hatred as well. Why didn't you say so earlier if you could stop the bleeding? Why did you have to wait until Tai Wei was gone for a while before telling him that you did it on purpose? It was evidently impossible to chase after Tai Wei now, since he'd run out at top speed. He should be in a taxi by now, and they could only pray that he made it to the hospital safely. Ha ha! Brother Lin's right. We've all had too much to drink and forgot about that. Jiang Wen shot Taizao a look, telling him not to do anything rash. Tai Wei didn't say anything else as he took in a deep breath to calm himself down. I'm going to the washroom. We'll continue later. Lin Yi stood up. This time, he didn't choose to leave the room. Instead, he walked into the washroom. He drunk so many bottles of wine. Even water would have been enough for Lin Yi to go to the washroom. And bro, don't let this kid go so easily, Taizao said in a low voice after Lin Yi entered the washroom. I'll make him pay for making Tai Wei bleed. Jiang Wen nodded. Plan B. Tell the waiter not to open the door, no matter what happens in the room. Haha, I've been telling you that's a good move, Taizao said happily as he left the room to give the waiter some instructions. Jiang Wen, on the other hand, made a call to his driver. Bring the inflatable doll up. Is it reliable? Is it effective? Taizao was starting to worry again. It should work, Jiang Wen said. Sihua bro gave it to me, it'll be fine. He said it's the most advanced medicine, called Invincible 80 or something. With that, Jiang Wen poured 3 glasses of red wine and poured a bag of powder into Lin Yi's glass. That's good. Haha, we'll have some fun now. Tai Wei tried his best to suppress his laughter, not letting it get too loud and attract Lin Yi's attention. Why is this guy taking so long to pee? He's not taking a dump, is he? I also want to go pee. I drank too much just now. Now that you mention it, I'm thinking of going too. Jiang Wen frowned as well. Why was Lin Yi taking so long? Lin Yi had actually pulled up his pants a long time ago. He'd only been eavesdropping on Jiang Wen and Tai Wei's conversation in the washroom. A cold smile flashed across his face. These two hadn't given up yet. They still wanted to play tricks. Inflatable doll? This in Jiang Wen was too mean. Lin Yi pushed open the washroom door, acting like he didn't know anything as he waved his hand apologetically to Jiang Wen and Taizao. I'm sorry. I drank too much, so my stomach's a little watery. It's been a little long, haven't it? It's fine, we'll go to the washroom as well. Jiang Wen and Taizao couldn't hold it in any longer as they stood up and ran into the washroom. Lin Yi smiled coldly. If these two hadn't been in a hurry to pee, he'd have done it in the washroom himself. He'd just have to drag it out a little longer. Lin Yi looked at the 3 glasses of red wine on the table and smiled. He quickly poured one of the glasses in front of Jiang Wen and Taizao into the corner, and took the other one in front of him. After doing all this, Lin Yi poured half of the red wine that Jiang Wen had tampered with into the empty glass and filled up the 2 glasses with the red wine before returning to his seat. After a while, Jiang Wen and Taizao walked out of the washroom to see Lin Yi fiddling with his phone. They thought that he was going to record again, but Lin Yi said, Let's drink a little more and eat. Miss Chu called me just now, telling me to go back as soon as possible. Oh. Jiang Wen and Taizao looked at each other, overjoyed. There were 2 reasons for this. One was that they were thinking about how to get Lin Yi to drink a glass of red wine, and now Lin Yi was asking to solve it himself. The other was that Lin Yi was talking on the phone in the room, and they didn't hear anything in the washroom at all. This also meant that Lin Yi, who was in the washroom, couldn't hear what they were talking about in the room. This meant that their plan would be exposed. All right, we'll do that then. I poured 3 glasses of red wine just now, and since Brother Lin said so, let's drink one last glass. Taizao smiled as he raised his glass. I'll finish this first. All right, it'll be the last glass then. Lin Yi nodded and raised his glass as well. Jiang Wen was overjoyed as well, and so the 3 of them finished their drinks and started eating. Why am I so hot? I'm still a little dizzy? Lin Yi said after eating 2 mouthfuls of food, holding his forehead. In fact, he didn't know what the invincible 80 looked like when it acted up, but he knew that it wouldn't be this soon. Haha. Jiang Wen laughed upon hearing Lin Yi's words. Lin Yi had fallen for it, and he wasn't afraid of Lin Yi anymore. It didn't matter if they fell out. As expected, Lin Yi's symptoms were more or less the same as what Sihua had told him. It seemed like the drug was acting up. Wah, what are you laughing at? Lin Yi asked curiously. Haha, Lin Yi, you don't know, do you? You've fallen for the invincible 80 aphrodisiac, and it's acting up now. You'll lose your mind soon. Jiang Wen laughed. I drugged the red wine you were drinking just now. Wah, why did you do that? Lin Yi looked at Jiang Wen, a little pissed off. Why? Haha. Since you want to know why, I'll tell you then. Jiang Wen said. You beat us up last time, and we were planning to drink you into the hospital this time. But we didn't expect you to drink so much that Tai Wei ended up in the hospital instead. You perforated my brother's stomach. How could I let you get away with that? Tai Zhao followed up. Lin Yi, the drug's going to get stronger and stronger, and you'll feel really bad if you don't vent it out. But don't worry, and Bro and I prepared a blow-up doll for you. Look at how thoughtful we are. You. Lin Yi's eyes were wide open as he looked at Jiang Wen and Tai Zhao in disbelief. You too are treating me like this? Jiang Wen, I saved your life, and not only do you not know how to repay me, you're even trying to hurt me. How can you bite the hand that fed you? Chapter 397. Save it for yourself. Someone knocked on the door at that moment, and Tai Zhao opened it to see Jiang Wen's driver standing there with a silk bag in his hands. Evidently the blow-up doll inside. Tai Zhao took the bag and turned to Jiang Wen's driver. All right, tell the waiters to stay away. Don't come any closer. Tell them not to come close no matter what happens in the room. Yes, Master Su. Jiang Wen's driver nodded and went to do his work. Haha, Lin Yi, I've prepared the blow-up doll for you. What do you think? Not bad, right? Tai Zhao said as he went to open the bag. All right, I guess I'm unlucky. Have you guys heard of Mr. Donggua's story? Lin Yi sighed as he looked at Jiang Wen and Tai Zhao. Mr. Donggua's story? What do you mean? Jiang Wen paused, not understanding why Lin Yi was still in the mood to talk about Mr. Donggua's story at a time like this. You haven't heard of it either? Lin Yi looked at Tai Zhao. Lin Yi, the drug's about to take effect. You should think about how you're going to deal with it. Do you want the blow-up doll? Or do you want us to find you a prostitute? Tai Zhao curled his lips, not answering Lin Yi's question. In his eyes, Lin Yi was now a prey for anyone to butcher. All he had to do was record a video of the drug's effect, and he'd be fired by Meng Yao. Or maybe we can help you find a female pig. Jiang Wen couldn't help but add, thinking that Lin Yi's story was completely ridiculous at this time. Huh. Tai Zhao started laughing at Jiang Wen's joke as well. Lin Yi looked at the two with pity. Since you guys don't know, I'll tell you a story then. It's about Mr. Donggua and the wolf. Are you sick? Jiang Wen looked at Lin Yi oddly. He didn't know if the guy was really stupid or not. The drug was about to take effect, and yet he still had the time to study Mr. Donggua and the wolf? Lin Yi ignored Jiang Wen and started his story. Once upon a time, there was a scholar named Mr. Donggua. One day, Mr. Donggua had to go to a faraway place. On the way, a wounded wolf suddenly rushed in front of him and begged, Sir, I am being chased by a hunter. He has wounded me with an arrow. Please save me. I will repay you well. Although Mr. Donggua knew that wolves were bad by nature, he still felt sorry for this wolf. After hesitating for a moment, he decided to hide it in his book bag. After a while, the hunter caught up to them and realized that the wolf had disappeared. There was only Mr. Donggua sitting by the roadside. Hence, he asked Mr. Donggua, Did you see a wolf? Mr. Donggua said, I didn't see anything. The hunter didn't think that Mr. Donggua would lie to him, so he went to look elsewhere. The wolf heard that the hunter was far away, so it came out of the bag. However, it didn't go to repay Mr. Dongwa. Instead, it pounced at Mr. Dongwa, baring its fangs and claws. "I'm hungry. Do another good deed, let me eat you." And then, that idiot Mr. Dongwa got eaten by a wolf. "Don't tell me you're that Mr. Dongwa." Huh. Jiang Wen naturally knew what Linny was implying, but he didn't mind it at all. He started laughing loudly. "No, the hunter came back and killed the wolf." Lin Yi said faintly, "This proves that good will be rewarded, evil will be punished. It's not that the time isn't right yet." "What do you mean?" Jiang Wen paused, vaguely sensing that there was something else in Lin Yi's words, but he couldn't figure out what Lin Yi was talking about. "It's nothing. It's not that the time isn't right yet." Lin Yi smiled. "What time isn't right yet?" "Lin Yi, what the hell are you mumbling about?" "What do you mean?" Jiang Wen was getting a little angry. "The medicine. You too ate that invincible 8-0 thing. It's probably going to take effect soon, right?" Lin Yi said. "What invincible 8-0? How did we eat it? Didn't you eat it?" Jiang Wen paused. "I'm sorry, but I split that glass of red wine into two, half for you and half for him." Lin Yi smiled. "Impossible. Absolutely impossible. How did you know that I was going to drug you?" Jiang Wen's face changed. He didn't really believe what Lin Yi was saying, but Lin Yi's words made sense. Most importantly, why did he feel like his body was heating up? "Oh, you can look inside the bottle if you don't believe me." Lin Yi pointed at the bottle on the table. "Look, there's still some left after pouring out 3 glasses. For glasses is just right." Jiang Wen paused as he looked at the bottle. He was the one who poured out the red wine before, so naturally he knew how much was left. Now that he looked at the bottle, there was only a bottom. Someone must have poured out some more. Could it be that Lin Yi was telling the truth? Jiang Wen and Taizao's faces changed at the thought. They were already feeling hot, and now they felt even hotter. "And bro, do you have the antidote?" Taizao was starting to panic. "No." Jiang Wen shook his head and looked at Lin Yi with a venomous look. "Did you really switch the wine for me? You'll know soon enough." Lin Yi said as he stood up. "I'll keep the blow-up doll for yourself. I'm leaving. But don't take it. It'll be bad if we get into a fight." Before Jiang Wen and Taizao could react, Lin Yi was already out of the room, locking the door from the outside with a metal wire. Jiang Wen and his driver had told them not to have any waiters outside, and even Jiang Wen's driver was standing at the end of the hallway. "Mr. Lin, why did you come out? Where's Master and the others?" Jiang Wen's driver didn't see Lin Yi lock the door, but asked curiously when he saw Lin Yi walking over. "Oh, they're in the room playing a new game. They told you not to disturb them." Lin Yi said, "All right." Jiang Wen's driver nodded. He didn't know about the conflict between Jiang Wen and Lin Yi, so he thought that Jiang Wen had sent Lin Yi out to talk to him. "Mr. Lin, are you going?" "I'm going back to do something for Bro." Lin Yi smiled. "I'll be leaving first. Do you need me to drive you?" Jiang Wen's driver said eagerly. Chapter 398. Chapter 398. Kong Xiaobo's parents' attitude. Jiang Wen, Taizao, and Gonglo's phones were all taken by Lin Yi, and so they were in the room, completely isolated from the outside world. They couldn't contact anyone outside, even if they wanted to. He didn't know if their medicine would work, but even if it didn't, they'd probably be scared out of their wits, right? Jiang Wen's driver sent Lin Yi off the car respectfully, watching as Lin Yi entered the villa before driving away. "Shield bro, you're back? Hee hee, Yao Yao missed you just now," Yushu said with a smile as she walked up to Lin Yi. "Shoo, don't say that. When did I miss him?" Meng Yao frowned. "I wanted you to call him and ask him if he's okay." "Huh. Then do you want me to be okay?" Lin Yi asked with a smile. Meng Yao wanted to say that of course she did, since that was what she'd been thinking as well. She'd agreed to let Lin Yi go eat with Jiang Wen because she wanted to use Jiang Wen to teach Lin Yi a lesson for trying to peek at her and Yushu's wishes today. But her anger had passed, and Meng Yao didn't want Lin Yi to be okay. She wanted to see how Lin Yi was going to deal with Jiang Wen. You're back in one piece. It's obvious that you're fine. What does it matter if I don't want it or not? Meng Yao said faintly, Huh. Lin Yi was used to the Mrs. Cold exterior but warm interior. He smiled and didn't say anything. I'll let you guys watch the video. I'll go take a shower first. I reek of alcohol. Another video? Oh, that's great. I thought there wouldn't be one this time. Yushu excitedly took over Lin Yi's phone and started playing the video. Meng Yao said that she wasn't interested, but she still moved her head closer when Yushu started playing. Lin Yi went back to his room to take a shower while Yushu and Meng Yao sat on the sofa, watching a video. Yushu exclaimed when she saw Lin Yi drinking with the other four. Wow, Yao Yao, Shield Bro's so good. He can drink so much. What's so good about drinking? Meng Yao curled her lips. Mommy wouldn't have left home if Daddy hadn't been busy with social activities. You can't say that, hee. I think the way Shield Bro drinks is so cool. Yushu said disapprovingly. Shu, how can you be so infatuated? Meng Yao scolded. It's nothing, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yushu blushed as she shook her head. Meng Yao didn't smile much, but the way Lin Yi dealt with Jiang Wen, Taizao, and Gang Lu was quite amused, especially Tai Wei coughing up blood. It was like something out of a comedy, and it wasn't scary at all. Instead, it was hilarious. Yao Yao, I remember that in Tang Bohu's Fragrance of Autumn, there was a guy coughing up blood like that, right? Yushu said after some thought. I think so. He's an advisor? Gonglo's an advisor too, and he got so pissed off by Lin Yi that he fainted. Meng Yao had to admit that Lin Yi's words were quite hurtful, but that was only limited to the people involved. Watching the video as a bystander was still very satisfying. Meng Yao and Yushu were even more speechless. Weren't Jiang Wen and Taizao a little too much? But Lin Yi's last sentence, telling them to keep it for themselves, made Meng Yao feel very comforted. It seemed that Lin Yi wasn't that perverted after all, not even interested in a blow-up doll. Yao Yao, what does a blow-up doll look like? I've never seen one before. Maybe we should go take a look sometime? Yushu suggested curiously. What are you looking at? Look at your ass. Meng Yao glared at Yushu, speechless. How can we go into an adult toy store like that? Oh, maybe we can get Shield Bro to buy one, and we can study it? Yushu said after some thought. No, what if he uses it secretly? That's disgusting. Meng Yao, of course, wouldn't agree. Yushu gave up after seeing that Meng Yao wasn't agreeable to it. Kong Xiaobo returned home with a worried heart. But what confused him was that the storm he'd been expecting wasn't coming. Kong Xiaobo was prepared for his parents' lecture before he got home. Xiaobo's back? Kong Fu and Kong Mu were both sitting on the sofa, their faces serious but not angry. This surprised Kong Xiaobo a little. Dad, Mom, I'm back. Kong Xiaobo nodded. I went to the bookstore and I got too engrossed in it. That's why I was late. Bookstore? What books? Kong Fu paused when he saw the bag in Kong Xiaobo's hands. Some stuff about business management. Kong Xiaobo didn't hide it. His parents would find out about it eventually, so he might as well tell them now in case they couldn't accept it later. Business management. Kong Fu couldn't help but frown. You're not buying books about studying, but business management? Aren't you biting off more than you can chew? Are you stimulated by the banquet today, and you want to make a career? But you haven't even been admitted to college yet. Why are you reading business management? Even if you learn it, do you think there are companies that want you? Even if there are companies that want you, aren't you just a small staff member? They are just small staff members after graduating from college. You haven't gone to college yet. Kong Fu opened a small tea house. The business wasn't good, but it wasn't bad either. He knew that it wasn't easy to make money, so when he heard that Kong Xiaobo wanted to learn business management, he immediately began to lecture. Yeah, Xiaobo, your father and I don't support or oppose the relationship between you and that girl. So you don't need to rush to make a career and prove yourself. Kong Xiaobo's mother said with a little concern. Dad, Mom, I have a company that wants me now, but I don't have the ability to do it. When Kong Xiaobo saw his parents look, he knew that they misunderstood, so he explained helplessly. A company wants you? You don't have the ability to do it? Kung Fu was stunned. Xiaobo, what do you mean? You don't know anything, and there are companies that want you? Yeah, the boss is going to open a pharmaceutical company, and he asked me to help. I don't know anything. I have to learn. Kong Xiaobo spread his hands and said with a bitter smile. Chapter 399. Kong Ming, vomiting and diarrhea though, Mr. Kong said that about his son. His tone wasn't very strict. Once upon a time, when he was his son's age, he didn't know how high the sky was and how far the sea was. He saw his second uncle's family getting better day by day, and he wanted to make a career out of it. However, the hardships of life and the torment of the years had already obliterated his edge. He wanted to make a career out of it, but he could only manage this tea house cautiously. He had become a good guy who had to take into account all aspects and offend people here and there if he wasn't careful. He didn't want his son to go from hope to disappointment like him, so he had to make things clear in advance. The idea was good, but it was hard to do it. Taking a sip of tea, Kung Fu continued, I think you should focus on your studies and put aside the management stuff for now. When there's a big company that wants you, you can learn it then. I don't have to buy management books for a small company. Kong Xiaobo smiled bitterly. Boss is investing in big companies. He's planning to open a medical company with Guan Shuamin, and he's planning to invest 100 million in the beginning. Buffed. Kung Fu spat out the tea in his mouth. Cough, cough. What? Guan Shuamin? 100 million? Yeah, Dad. Do you think I'd be under so much pressure? Someone like me, who doesn't know anything, has to help manage such a big company. How can I not learn? Kong Xiaobo found his father's expression funny, but he was very proud of himself. Didn't you say your son couldn't do it? So what if he couldn't do it? He had a good boss. My God, how much is 100 million? Kong Mu's eyes widened as well. Your dad's tea house is at most a few million, and that includes the house. Father Kong glared at Mother Kong and said, You might think 100 million is a lot, but in my uncle's eyes it's nothing. His family's business is worth at least 1 billion. However, investing 100 million in a company in the early stages is considered a big company. Xiaobo, if you really can't do it, then don't force yourself. What will you do if you lose their money for nothing? That second uncle of yours? Look at his attitude towards our Xiaobo today. What a piece of trash. Kong Mu didn't think so. Xiaobo, Mom supports you. Since your eldest brother trusts you so much, you should repay him well. Make a career and show your second grandpa's family. And I know. Kong Xiaobo clenched his fist. Boss told me the same thing. At this point, Mr. Kong couldn't say anything more. He could only silently bless and support his son. Xiaobo, since you've made up your mind, do it well. Don't let us down. Well, then I'll go back to my room first. Today's events have given me too much psychological impact. One after another, I feel like I'm dreaming. I need to digest and sort it out. Kong Xiaobo said with some embarrassment. Mr. Kong nodded, but he smiled bitterly in his heart. Not to mention a child like you. Even a person like me, who has been through a lot, would be so shocked that I almost dropped the teacup in my hand when I heard this news from you. After Kong Xiaobo left, Kong Mu's face was filled with excitement. I said that our son is amazing. Look, isn't our family going to have a comeback? Let's see if your second uncle still has to look at us in the eye. Guan Shumin, Miracle Dr. Guan, is much better than your second uncle. That half-baked miracle doctor. Nothing has been set in stone yet. Why are you saying all this? Moreover, you can only encourage him, not praise him. Kids are easy to get carried away. Don't make Xiaobo's ego inflate. It will be disadvantageous to him, Kung Fu said seriously. Don't talk about this anymore. We'll just watch silently. All right, I'll listen to you. Kong Mu nodded. She naturally understood that what Kung Fu said was right. Old Kong, why don't you ask about Xiao Fun? Don't you want to talk to your son? You should at least ask what's going on, right? Since he doesn't support or oppose it, why ask so much? Kung Fu shook his head. Think about it. I think half of Xiaobo's motivation comes from that girl. So why should we care so much? If Xiaobo really becomes outstanding one day, Xiaofun will be the hero. If he wants to break up with Xiaofun, we won't agree to it. But on the other hand, if she leads Xiaobo astray, we have to break them up no matter what. What you said makes sense. Now that you said it, it does make sense. Kong Mu nodded. Then we won't say anything else. At night, Kong Mingming found out that he started to vomit and have diarrhea. At first, it scared the Kong family as they thought he was poisoned. Dad, I said that Kong Xiaobo must have bad intentions. He sent us poison. Kong Tsuepu saw his son suffering. His eyes were red. He had the urge to kill Kong Xiaobo. Dr. Kong frowned. He looked at Kong Mingming, who was lying on the bed. He was puzzled. Was Kong Xiaobo really not afraid of anything? He sent a poison without any hesitation? Zhao Ming, how do you feel? Do we need to go to the hospital? Dr. Kong looked at his grandson and asked worriedly. Although he didn't love his grandson as much as his eldest grandson, he was still his grandson. How could he not feel heartache? Grandpa. Kong Mingming squeezed a smile on his pale face. I feel like my body doesn't belong to me anymore. I feel like I'm floating. If I die, will I be considered a hero of the Kong family? You can't die. You are now a hero of the Kong family. Dr. Kong was touched. Whether it works or not, I will give you 5% of the Kong family's shares as a reward. Thank you, Grandpa, but I don't need it. Just give it to my dad. Kong Mingming said intermittently. Zhao Ming, don't scare Dad. If you die, what use do I have for the shares? Kong Tsuepu heard Kong Mingming's words and jumped at him. Zhao Ming, why don't we go to the hospital? You can't stay like this. Tsuepu was panicking when Kong Xiaoming blinked at him. We can't go to the hospital. We can't let people know that we picked up Xiaobo's pills again. They'll laugh at us. I can't do that. Even if I die, we can't lose face for House Kong. Tsuepu said. Chapter 400. It really works, but he didn't say it aloud. He pretended to be pitiful, trying to get Dr. Kang's sympathy and get some benefits for himself. Tsuepu and Kong Mingming were the same kind of people, both sly and cunning. The father wouldn't have given a fake ginseng, and the son a fake prescription otherwise. So, Kong Tsuepu immediately understood what Kong Xiaoming was implying. Kong Xiaoming was fine, he was just pretending. Tsuepu didn't show it on his face, but he was praising his son on the inside. The pupil had surpassed the master, and was even more devious than he was. Good kid, truly a good kid. Dr. Kong couldn't help but cry at Kong Mingming's words. Xiaolong, if you can't go to the hospital, why don't you take a look at Zhao Ming and check his pulse? All right, Grandpa. Xiaolong looked at Kong Mingming's acting with cold eyes. As his cousin, he knew exactly what kind of person Kong Mingming was. He was a schemer and a coward since he was young. Why wouldn't he go to the hospital if he really couldn't make it? Xiaolong guessed that Kong Mingming was most likely faking it, but he couldn't say it aloud. It wasn't the right time to say such things, but Xiaolong was a little jealous of Kong Mingming. He was the genius of the family, his grandpa's favorite. But Kong Mingming got lucky and ate a pill that made him the center of attention. If he'd known this would happen, he'd have taken it himself. Of course, if Xiaolong had asked to test the pill himself, Dr. Kong wouldn't have agreed. Xiaolong was the future of House Kong, after all. Even if he knew that the pill wouldn't kill him, Dr. Kong wouldn't risk letting Xiaolong try it. Xiaolong's heart calmed down a little at the thought. He walked over and held Xiaolong's wrist, checking his pulse. It was weak, but it was fine. Xiaolong was a meticulous man, and he noticed that the pores on Kong Mingming's body were covered in a layer of yellow and black oil. What's this? Out of your body? Kong Mingming was too focused on his vomiting and diarrhea to notice that there was a layer of stickiness on his body. What is this? Bone and marrow cleansing? Could it really be the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing? Xiaolong looked at the stuff coming out of Kong Mingming's body in shock. Yes, it should be. I've seen descriptions of bone and marrow cleansing in some ancient medical books, and this is the effect. It really is the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Dr. Kong was also very surprised. At this moment, he couldn't help but feel a little regretful. How good would it be if he had eaten it? Kong Mingming was so young. Why would he need to expel poison? He was the one who should be prolonging his lifespan and expelling the poison. However, the remaining half obviously couldn't be eaten. It had to be sent to the group's research institute for analysis and testing. It shouldn't be wrong. Xiaolong nodded. But the effects aren't that obvious when used on Xiaoming. One reason is because he's young and there's less poison in his body. The other reason is that he only ate half of it. All right, Xiaolong, bring the other half of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing to our company's research center immediately. We'll analyze and test the ingredients. If we can get our hands on the recipe of this pill, then Miracle Dr. Kang's brand will definitely rise to new heights. Miracle Dr. Kong ordered excitedly. Yes, Grandpa. Xiaolong nodded, smiling bitterly on the inside. It wasn't that easy to analyze the ingredients. It'd be fine if it were just regular ingredients. But if there were some strange herbs added in, there was basically no hope of getting anything out of it. In the intensive care unit of a high-end hospital in Donghai City, an old man lay weakly on the bed. In the outer room of his ward, a square-faced man was discussing with the doctor in a low voice. If my father doesn't have a kidney transplant, how long can he last? Less than a month. The doctor shook his head. We've done our best. What's the hope of getting a kidney transplant? The man asked. This man was Fatty Lai's brother, Changtian. It's okay to spend money. Mr. Lai, forgive me for being blunt, but Mr. Lai's condition is very bad. If we get a kidney transplant right now, I'm afraid he won't even be able to get off the operating table. The doctor said honestly, with your family's wealth, finding a suitable kidney isn't a problem. If we don't have the proper channels, there's the black market. But this isn't a problem of money, doctor. Can you think of something else? Changtian hesitated. How about we wake him up? It's not like he's in a coma, right? Changtian didn't really care about his father's well-being, but the problem was that his father didn't leave a will before he fainted. If his father passed away just like that, then he'd have to split the remaining assets with his brother. He wasn't willing to accept this. He'd invested a lot more time and effort into the company than his brother. Changi was only in charge of real estate and trade. Of course, these two industries were already highly profitable in the eyes of others. But Changtian was in charge of manufacturing. Compared to real estate and trade, electronic manufacturing with a large industrial park was the group's core industry. Even if the real estate and trade sectors were separated and given to Changi, it wouldn't hurt the group at all. But Changtian was afraid that his brother would fight for control of the industrial park. This was something Changtian didn't want to see, so he had to make his father wake up and leave a will. His father wasn't muddle-headed. He definitely didn't want to see the electronic industrial park he'd created split apart because of family infighting. The best solution was to leave the real estate and trade subsidiaries to Changi. He could also give Changi a portion of the electronic industrial park shares, but he wouldn't have the decision-making power and the shares couldn't be sold at will. If he wanted to sell them, They could only be sold to him at market price. This was Changtian's plan. The conditions weren't too harsh, and he believed that his father would agree to his suggestion for the sake of the industrial park's prosperity. But if his father passed away just like that, Changtian couldn't guarantee that his brother wouldn't try to take over. Wake up. That's possible, but after he wakes up, he probably won't be able to make it. The doctor understood what Changtian meant, so he explained. Let me think about it. Changtian frowned. He didn't know if he'd have time to make a will the moment he woke up. As they were talking, the door to the ward was pushed open, and Changyi or Fatty Lai rushed in. Good news, good news. Dad can be saved. Chapter 401. The non-mainstream girl brother. Dad saved. I found the elixir. Give it to him now. Fatty Lai was beyond excited, the fat on his body jiggling as he spoke with a cigar box in his hands. Changyi, what do you mean saved? What elixir did you find? Changtian frowned. You didn't run into some scammer who gave you a pill of strength, did you? It's not a strength pill, nor a scammer. Fatty Lai shook his head. It's really something good. Brother, go get some warm water. I'll give it to Dad. Nonsense. What if Dad dies from it? Why are you bringing everything here? Changtian humphed coldly as he reached for the thing in Changyi's hands. The doctor saw that it was a quarrel between the two brothers and didn't want to get involved. He turned to leave, but Changtian didn't seem to have any intention of letting him go. He pointed at him. The doctor is here. Ask him if that strength pill can be eaten as he pleases. The doctor was sweating profusely, not knowing how to answer Changtian's question. How could he just say something like that? Sure, the strength pill couldn't be eaten. But what if Fatty Lai managed to get some special medicine from a famous doctor? It was a difficult situation for him to handle. If he said no, and the medicine was proven to be effective, wouldn't he have to bear the responsibility? If he said yes, what if someone died from it? The doctor hesitated for a long time before replying. Everything has its risks, and not all elixirs are scammers. There are good ones as well. The ambiguity of not offending either side pissed Changtian off. Damn it, I gave you a red packet for nothing. All right, you can leave now. There's nothing for you to do here. Changtian waved his hand, shooing the doctor out. The doctor felt as if he'd been pardoned and quickly left the room. It was best if he didn't get involved in a battle between two brothers. What are you trying to do by making this pill? Do you want Dad to die immediately after eating it? Changtian's eyes widened, a cold smile on his face. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking. You just want Dad to die quickly so you can fight me for control of the industrial park, right? I'm telling you, that's impossible. I've put a lot of effort into the industrial park. I'm 5 years older than you, and I've been working in the industrial park since I was 20 years old. I won't give it up so easily. Let me tell you, don't even think about it. Even if Dad wakes up, he will only give you 30% of the shares. The real estate and trade are yours. You better not get involved in the industrial park. I want Dad to die? Don't force me to say some things. I heard the conversation between you and the doctor from the door. Don't you want Dad to write you a will when he wakes up? Fatty Lai smiled coldly. Since you've already shed all pretense of cordiality, don't blame me for being impolite. I'll say it here. I'm giving Dad this pill because I want him to recover. As for that industrial park of yours, I'm not going to get involved. If Dad doesn't leave a will, I don't want it either. Just like you said, give me 30% of the shares, and I'll split up with the real estate and trading companies. Oh! Changtian paused, a trace of joy flashing through his eyes. All right, words alone are no proof. Let's write it down. Once I write it down and you sign it, you can give Dad whatever you want. I don't care anymore. It's a deal. Fatty Lai's eyes flashed with coldness. This brother of his was too heartless. He didn't care about his father's life or death at all. All he cared about was getting control of the industrial park. Chang Tian had a general outline of the contract in his mind, so it didn't take long for him to come up with one. For a veteran in the business world like him, it wasn't hard to come up with a strict contract in a short amount of time. At the same time, Fatty Lai wasn't stupid. He looked at the contract his brother had written for him, and there were no problems with it. He signed it right away. "All right, do whatever you want." Chang Tian put away the contract in satisfaction, his face full of joy. Fatty Lai didn't care if his brother was cold-blooded or not. He quickly ran into the room and carefully put the pill into his father's mouth. He then melted it with some hot water and fed it to his father. Chang Tian stood on the side, recording the scene with his phone. He smiled coldly in his heart. If something really did happen to his father, this video would be enough to prove that Fatty Lai was the murderer. Even if it wasn't intentional, it was still a mistake. Forget about fighting for the inheritance. He'd be lucky if he didn't end up in jail. One had to say Chang Tian was a very sinister man. He wasn't completely at ease after signing the contract, afraid that Fatty Lai would go back on his word. Fatty Lai waited on the side for the results after giving Elder Lai the pill, but the old man didn't seem to have any reaction at all. Chang Tian watched Fatty Lai's every move with a cold smile on his face. What kind of *T pill from God knows where could wake someone up? What kind of joke was this? Chang Tian didn't believe that such a stupid thing existed in this world. Ever since the old man had fallen unconscious, who knew how much money they'd spent to no avail? Naturally, Chang Tian didn't think that a miracle would happen. "If you want to stay here, then stay here. I'm leaving." Lai Chang Tian had already gotten the result he wanted. It didn't matter if the old man woke up or not. If he was right, this pill would only bring harm to the old man. Who knew? The old man's wails would be heard the next day. Monday, Songshan's first school's entrance. A group of people stood in a neat formation, with Pin Liang and Zhou Ruoming among them. From the looks of it, they were welcoming someone, but what kind of person could make Pin Liang and Zhou Ruoming line up to welcome? If one looked closely, they'd realize that other than Pin Liang and Zhou Ruoming, the rest of the people in the group were all troublemakers in the school. They weren't as famous as the Big Four, but they were still famous people. For example, the 12th grade gangster Kong Xiaobo had run until last time. Yudafa was standing in the group as well. An Audi TT slowly stopped in front of the school. The driver was a young girl with a pair of sunglasses on her delicate face. Her hair was combed to the side, and it was a very non-mainstream style. "Welcome back to school, Feng Sis." Other than Pin Liang and Zhou Ruoming, the other students greeted and bowed when they saw the girl in the Audi. Chapter 402. The Last of the Big Four. It's The Invincible Beauty of the Universe. Big Sis Xiao Xiao. The group sweated, but they repeated it anyway. Lil Sis Xiao Xiao is back. Zhou Ruoming and Pin Liang didn't really want to welcome Xiao Xiao, but they had no choice. They had to come. Xiao Xiao had only been in middle school for a month or so, but her name had spread far and wide. Even Zhou Ruoming and Pin Liang didn't dare mess with her. Otherwise, she wouldn't have become the fourth of the Big Four as a girl. The reason why she was the last of the Big Four wasn't because she wasn't strong. Quite the contrary. She was even fiercer than Pin Liang and Zhou Ruoming, drinking, racing, fighting, and using knives in the first year. This fierce girl was the last because she was the youngest. Fortunately, Xiao Xiao left soon after and became a legend in the school. Otherwise, Zhou Ruoming and Pin Liang would have been crushed by her. Being suppressed by a little girl, where would their faces go? How could they endure this? It wasn't easy for the fierce girl to leave, and after a few years of freedom, Lin Yi came along and crushed them. But because of Lin Yi's existence, Zhou Ruoming and Pin Liang didn't mind Xiao Xiao's return at all. They really wanted to see what would happen when the fierce girl fought with Master Lin. Would the foam girl castrate Lin Yi with one slash? Zhou Ruoming and Pin Liang were looking forward to it. Why is it still you guys? Hasn't there been any strong characters in Songshan's first school these past few years? Xiao Xiao probed. There is, but he doesn't give a shit about us. I won't lie to you. Lil Sis Xiao Xiao, he took care of me and Liangzi, and Songshan's first school is his world now. No one dares do anything to him. Even his followers, super strong. Zhou Ruoming didn't hesitate to belittle himself in order to make Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao fight, making Lin Yi sound so strong. I told him to come welcome Lil Sis Xiao Xiao, but he's busy hitting on girls and doesn't have time for us. You Dafa, and the others looked at Zhou Ruoming with disdain. This guy didn't even tell Lin Yi, he was just trying to drive a wedge between the two, but no one dared speak up for Lin Yi. They'd get on Lin Yi's good side, but they'd also offend Zhou Ruoming and Pin Liang. Lin Yi. Xiao Xiao frowned and took out a small phone from her pocket, showing a picture to Zhou Ruoming. Is this the person? Sister Xiao Xiao, do you know him? Zhou Ruoming looked at Xiao Xiao's phone. The person in the photo was Lin Yi. He's here. Xiao Xiao nodded, satisfied. Looks like I was right to come. This was really a case of walking all over the place in search of iron shoes, only to find it by chance, without even looking. Xiao Xiao had been searching for Meng Yao and Lin Yi in Songshan like a net, but she couldn't find them. In the end, she accidentally showed her phone to a friend, and the friend recognized Meng Yao right away. It was the daughter of Pengzhan Industries chairman, studying in Songshan's first high. Xiao Xiao was speechless after hearing the answer. She was a transfer student from Songshan's first high, and she hadn't thought about going there before. She didn't expect to find them here. But it was no wonder, since Meng Yao and Yushu didn't go to Songshan's first high. Pengzhan was afraid that Meng Yao wouldn't know what was right and wrong, and that she'd become a spoiled little miss in his own school. So he sent her to a public middle school first, and then to Songshan's first high. And so, Xiao Xiao had never seen Meng Yao or Yushu before, much less Lin Yi, who just transferred here not too long ago. After hearing Xiao Xiao's words, Ruoming and Pin Liang were like two oppressed refugees who saw the light at the end of the tunnel. So Xiao Xiao was here to get even with Lin Yi? That was great. They couldn't do anything to Lin Yi, but Xiao Xiao could. Yeah, Lil Sis Xiao Xiao, do you have a grudge against him? Pin Liang asked. A grudge? Xiao Xiao blinked. Did she really have a grudge against Lin Yi? It was as if the conflict from before wasn't a grudge at all. She was looking for Lin Yi because she wanted to race Lin Yi. After being looked down on by Lin Yi, she felt a little indignant, but still said, I guess so. Zhou Ruoming and Pin Liang's faces lit up. With Xiao Xiao taking care of Lin Yi, they could just sit back and watch. Xiao Xiao locked the car and strutted into Songshan's first high, with Zhou Ruoming and Pin Liang following closely behind her. Tell me about Lin Yi, why don't you? He's hitting on girls? What girls? Xiao Xiao asked Zhou Ruoming and Pin Liang as they walked. Xiao Xiao was a little confused. Wasn't Lin Yi Meng Yao's bodyguard? How was he hitting on girls? Could it be that he was with Meng Yao? He's really close with the commoner beauty of our school, Tang Yin. She didn't come from here in middle school. She only came here in high school. Pin Liang said, she's Ming Bro's latest target, but Lin Yi beat her to it. Oh. Xiao Xiao blinked, not expecting Lin Yi to really come to school to hit on girls. And it was Zhou Ruoming's target, too. She couldn't help but look at Zhou Ruoming to see what he had to say. Don't look at me like that. I can't beat him. Zhou Ruoming said hatefully. It was a little self-revealing, but he didn't want to hide it. The more he did, the more it showed Lin Yi's position as the king of the school. That was the only way Xiao Xiao could deal with him. Does anyone else in the school know about this? Xiao Xiao asked. There's probably no one who doesn't know about this. Announcing that Tang Yun is his woman in front of the dean. Lil Sis Xiao Xiao, this guy is even more powerful than you were back then. Pin Liang said. The dean didn't dare say anything. Oh, what's his background? Xiao Xiao was curious. Even if Meng Yao's father Pengzhan was a shareholder of the school, A bodyguard shouldn't be this cocky, right? Plus, if he was Meng Yao's bodyguard, why would she let him hit on girls? And let everyone know about it? Could it be that his relationship with Meng Yao was a secret? I don't know about his background, but I heard that he was a transfer student from a faraway village. But it doesn't seem like it. Pin Liang shook his head. He'd be an idiot if he still thought that Lin Yi was some country bumpkin. All right, I understand. Xiao Xiao nodded. It seemed like she needed to change her plan. She'd wanted to act a little flirtatious with Lin Yi in front of Meng Yao to give him some trouble. But that didn't seem to work now. Chapter 403. I'm here for Lin Yi. Xiao Xiao came looking for Lin Yi just to get back at him. How could a bodyguard be this strong? She just wanted to race with him, but he didn't even care and pushed her car to the side. This was a huge blow to the big sister's reputation. Jifeng jumped in shock when Xiao Xiao went to the dean's office to handle the registration. He'd received a call from Ding Bingong, saying that someone had arranged for a student to come in. But he didn't think that it would be Xiao Xiao. Jifeng knew Xiao Xiao's infamous name all too well when she'd just entered middle school. She'd broken the balls of a young master who'd been trying to take advantage of her, and not long after that, she'd stabbed a gangster who tried to rob her from outside the school, heavily injuring him. Although neither of those things were Xiao Xiao's fault, and it wasn't her doing it on purpose, it was still a big deal. If it weren't for Bingong saying that someone was protecting her, she'd probably have been expelled already. Fortunately, Xiao Xiao only stayed here for a couple of days before getting bored. She didn't have any opponents, so she transferred schools. But Xiao Xiao's name was already spread far and wide. Be it Zhou Ruoming or Zhong Pingliang, they were both violent young masters, but they weren't as violent as Xiao Xiao. A girl stabbing someone with a knife wasn't something that could be measured with common sense. Plus, this girl seemed to have some background. She hadn't been expelled after these two incidents, so who would dare mess with her? Jifeng felt like his head was about to explode. There was nothing he could do about this Xiao Xiao. She'd lost all her authority as a dean, and one Lin Yi was enough to make him suffer. Now this Xiao Xiao. Fortunately, Lin Yi didn't cause much trouble, only holding hands with girls in front of him. This Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, dared to stab people in front of him. Should he still be the dean? He might as well let Xiao Xiao be the dean. The students were more afraid of Xiao Xiao than they were of him. Xiao Xiao, welcome back, Jifeng said insincerely. The principal had already greeted her, so what else could a dean like him say? He could only go against his will and express his welcome. Mr. Wang, you don't seem to welcome me very much, do you? Xiao Xiao grinned at Jifeng. How can that be? Wang Jifeng smiled bitterly. He was a failure as the academic affairs dean. Hee, don't worry, Mr. Wang. I'm here to look for someone. I won't cause you any trouble. Xiao Xiao saw the bitter look on Jifeng's face and reassured him. Oh, looking for someone. Okay, which class do you want to go to? Wang Jifeng breathed a sigh of relief. If it was just looking for someone, it would be easy. Class? I don't know either. Right, do you know which class Linny is in? Xiao Xiao asked suddenly. Linny? Wang Jifeng was shocked. You're looking for him. Yeah, is there a problem? Xiao Xiao nodded, grumbling like a woman. I'm looking for him. Humph, I finally found him. I'll teach him a lesson. It was no wonder that Xiao Xiao was so agitated, searching the whole of Songshan, only to find that Lin Yi was in her old school. Plop! Jifeng almost fainted when he heard Lin Yi's name. You're looking for Lin Yi? Yeah, what's the problem? Xiao Xiao asked. Nothing. Jifeng waved his hand helplessly and sighed. He helped Xiao Xiao with the school registration, but he was wondering why Xiao Xiao was looking for Lin Yi. Judging from her expression, it was as if Lin Yi dumped her. Was she here to get back together with Lin Yi? But what about Tang Yin? Could it be the legendary love triangle? Jifeng felt a headache coming on. It seemed like he'd have to worry about this in the future. Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao were together. It was up to the heavens. After the registration was done, Jifeng brought Xiao Xiao to the entrance of the 12th grade's class 5. He nodded to the homeroom teacher and personally sent Xiao Xiao into the classroom. Let me introduce a new classmate to everyone, Xiao Xiao. Everyone, please give her a round of applause. Other than Pin Liang and Xiao Fu, no one else knew about Xiao Xiao. It was too long ago, and most of the students in the class were only in high school. They didn't know much about Xiao Xiao, but the boys in the class were getting excited. One had to admit that Xiao Xiao's sweet appearance was quite deceiving. If they didn't know about her bad reputation, they'd think that she was a cute little girl. She had the potential to become a school beauty on par with Meng Yao, Yushu, and Tang Yin. That was the boys' first impression. Hello, everyone. Please take care of me. Xiao Xiao smiled sweetly. Pin Liang felt goosebumps all over his body. Coming from Xiao Xiao's mouth, it was very suspicious. Xiao Xiao was pretty, but he didn't have any feelings for her. Getting his balls broken wasn't something to be messed with. Xiao Xiao, you sit here. The teacher was trying to arrange a seat for Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao wasn't tall, so the teacher wanted to get her a seat closer to the front. The students who transferred here at this time were usually here to study and prepare for their final exams, and this Xiao Xiao was sent here by the dean himself. She had to have some sort of background. No need, I'll find my own seat. Xiao Xiao didn't wait for the teacher to finish and walked to the last row of the class. Lin Yi frowned. He'd felt that this Xiao Xiao looked familiar, and now that she was walking towards him, he remembered something. This girl, wasn't she the Audi TT girl he met at the food street the other day? She wasn't dressed up as exaggeratedly today, much cuter than that day. But if he looked closely, he could still recognize her. Chapter 404. Chapter 404. Bullsh**. This instincts told him that Xiao Xiao wasn't here for anything good. The girl was sweet and cute, but Lin, he didn't want to piss her off. He'd be in a lot of trouble if he did. You. Xiao Xiao was pissed off at Lin Yi's words. She was a super beautiful girl in the universe, wasn't she? Why was she being called an idiot by this guy? Kang Xiaobo, who was sitting in front of Lin Yi, had heard Xiao Xiao's words. He was envious of Lin Yi's luck with women, but Lin Yi's mocking words almost made him faint. This guy really didn't know how to take care of women. What about me? If you're here to study, then do whatever you want. But if you're here for something else, don't blame me for kicking you down the stairs. Lin Yi said faintly, I've already stepped on 2 of the big 4. I don't mind stepping on another one. It wasn't as if Lin Yi didn't see what happened at the school gates this morning. In fact, the leader of the 12th year, Yu Dafa, had informed him about the return of the last of the big 4, but Lin Yi wasn't interested in going to greet the big 4. Whoever wanted to go kiss his ass could go. Lin Yi didn't want to go anyway. What Lin Yi didn't expect was that the last of the big 4 was a girl, and the one he'd met at the food street at that time. And so Lin Yi didn't care about her at all. You know, Xiao Xiao didn't expect Lin Yi to know her identity already. I took a look at you from the window. Lin Yi's phone vibrated, and Lin Yi frowned. Stop wasting time. I'll check my messages. Xiao Xiao was furious at Lin Yi's disregard. She'd never been looked down on like this before. She raised her heels and tried to step on Lin Yi's foot, but Lin Yi's eyes didn't even blink as he looked at the text. But before Xiao Xiao's foot could land on his foot, he retreated. Crack! A crisp cracking sound accompanied Xiao Xiao's startled gasp. Xiao Xiao's heel had completely broken from using too much force. Xiao Xiao's face was red with anger as she glared at Lin Yi, but Lin Yi acted like nothing had happened, still looking at his text as if he hadn't heard anything. Could it be a coincidence? Lin Yi didn't dodge on purpose? Xiao Xiao was confused. Wait. Xiao Xiao reacted abruptly. Even if this guy didn't see it, surely he didn't hear the sound of the heel breaking? Wasn't he curious at all? There was only one possibility. Lin Yi did it on purpose. He'd dodged on purpose before, and now he was pretending not to hear it. Xiao Xiao was so pissed that she wanted to snatch Lin Yi's phone away. But Lin Yi raised his hand slightly as if he was going to send a message, avoiding Xiao Xiao's hand. It was a text from Yushu. Yao asked me to ask you, why are you messing around again? Did someone come looking for you? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. It seemed that Meng Yao and Yushu didn't recognize Xiao Xiao as the person they'd met at the food street that day. He replied, she's here to get even with me, but it's because I accompanied you guys to the food street. Food street? Meng Yao frowned as she looked at Yushu's phone. What food street? What does Lin Yi hitting on girls have to do with food street? Oh, I think I remember. Yushu slapped her forehead in realization. Yao, do you remember when there was a delinquent girl blocking our car at the food street and Shield Bro pushed their car out of the way? You're talking about the Audi TT? Meng Yao tried her best to recall it. It seemed like it was the same Xiao Xiao today, just dressed differently. Yeah, that's her. Yushu nodded. So it's Shield Bro. Yao, what do we do? What else can we do? Just ignore her. Since it's not Lin Yi messing around, we don't need to care. Meng Yao said nonchalantly. Oh, right. We'll take care of Shield Bro when he's messing around. Yushu said in agreement. Messing around has nothing to do with us. It's not like he's your boyfriend. What's the rush? Meng Yao glared at Yushu. Oh, it depends on Yao if he's my boyfriend or not. Yushu stuck her tongue out. What the hell are you talking about? Meng Yao raged. Open your mouth? ? Yushu blinked, but opened her mouth obediently. Aha! Meng Yao reached for Yushu's mouth. Ow. It hurts. Yao, why did you pull my tongue out? It hurts, let go. Yushu cried out in pain. I'll pull your tongue out so you don't talk nonsense all the time. Meng Yao, naturally, wouldn't actually pull her tongue out. She was just trying to scare her. I won't do it again. I won't talk nonsense anymore. It hurts, Yao, you really did it, it hurts. Yushu covered her mouth, almost crying. Lin Yi put his phone back in his pocket before turning to Xiao Xiao. What are you doing? Are you ADHD? Hey, is Meng Yao jealous? Xiao Xiao might look violent on the outside, but she was actually a very sensitive person. She looked at Meng Yao after Lin Yi sent the text and saw that Meng Yao had lowered her head. She knew that Meng Yao was reading the text. No, she doesn't like me. Lin Yi said faintly, you don't need to think about all this dirty stuff, it's useless. Lin Yi looked at Xiao Xiao's eyes and guessed what she was thinking. Dirty stuff? Say whatever you want, but teach me how to drive, or I'll tell everyone about your relationship with Meng Yao. Xiao Xiao didn't care about Lin Yi's threat at all. She turned it around and threatened Lin Yi. Do what you want. What other people don't know can only affect Meng Yao. It doesn't matter to me at all. Lin Yi shrugged. I don't care if you're willing to make an enemy out of yourself. But don't think that Meng Yao's a pushover. She's got a Yushu with her, and she's even stronger than you are. You'd be dead before you know it. Ow. Xiao Xiao glared at Lin Yi hatefully. Her threat didn't work, so she could only give up. She'd never met Yushu in person before, but she'd heard of her name a long time ago. Her brother was the head of the Songshan 4, and he was way higher than her, a big 4. Xiao Xiao didn't want to provoke someone like that unless she had a huge grudge against him. She wanted to scare Lin Yi into submission, but he didn't care. Chapter 405. Giving you advice. She's been wanting to kick me out for a long time, but did I? Lin Yi looked at Xiao Xiao like she was an idiot. Her dad's the one paying my salary, not her. Can you stop asking stupid questions like that in the future? Just tell me, are you going to teach me how to race or not? Xiao Xiao humphed. I don't know how to race. Lin Yi shook his head. I just got my license this month. Take a look if you don't believe me." With that, Lin Yi took out his license and put it in front of Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao was speechless. She looked at the date on the license. It really was this month. But she didn't believe what Lin Yi was saying. You didn't need a license to drive. All right, Lin Yi, we'll see. Xiao Xiao said hatefully. Huh. Lin Yi didn't take Xiao Xiao's words seriously at all. After the first class, Xiao Xiao called Pin Liang out of the classroom. Lil sis Xiao Xiao, how's it going? Did you deal with that Lin Yi guy? Pin Liang was actually even more anxious than Xiao Xiao. He'd wanted to ask Xiao Xiao if there was any progress, but he didn't dare to just go look for her if she didn't want to. Now that Xiao Xiao was looking for him, naturally he had to ask. It's not that easy. This guy doesn't listen to reason or force. Xiao Xiao said hatefully. Do you know what his weakness is? I'm not too sure. Pin Liang thought. If he knew what his weakness was, he wouldn't be waiting for her to take care of him. He'd take care of him myself. Then, do you think there's anything we can use to blackmail Lin Yi? Xiao Xiao continued. Blackmail. Pin Liang blinked, not understanding why Xiao Xiao was blackmailing Lin Yi and not teaching Lin Yi a lesson. Lil sis Xiao Xiao, why are you blackmailing him? To achieve a goal, of course. Why are you asking so many questions? Do you know or not? Xiao Xiao frowned impatiently, evidently not wanting to talk about this topic with Pin Liang. If you're talking about blackmail, I can't think of anything right now. Maybe I'll go back and think about it, then talk to you? Pin Liang hesitated for a long time, unable to come up with a reason. All right, go back then. Xiao Xiao was speechless. How come this Pin Liang didn't know anything? Naturally, she didn't put her hopes on Pin Liang coming up with a solution. It seemed like she couldn't count on him. Boss, what's wrong with her? Kong Xiaobo looked at Lin Yi with some doubt and asked in a low voice. Who knows? She's crazy. I met her once at the food street. She used her car to block my car. I pushed her away and she asked me to teach her how to race. Lin Yi explained, feeling speechless. I see. But boss, you're quite lucky with women. Kong Xiaobo said enviously. Why aren't there any beautiful girls looking for me? You want me to tell Fun, don't you? Lin Yi asked with a smile. Don't tell her, I'm just fantasizing. Kong Xiaobo quickly shook his head. Right, boss. Why didn't you ask me if my parents said anything about Fun after I went back yesterday? If you'd told them about the company first, they might have stopped asking about Finn. And if you hadn't, you wouldn't have been able to separate from Fun under the circumstances yesterday. So there's no point in telling them. Lin Yi analyzed with a smile. Boss, you're the boss. You hit the nail on the head. I told them about the company yesterday, and they really didn't care about me and Finn anymore. Kong Xiaobo nodded, a little excited. But boss, I spent the whole night reading business management books and I'm still confused. There's a lot of technical terms I don't understand. If you could learn everything in one night, then the world would be full of entrepreneurs. Lin Yi shook his head. You have to do things step by step. You can't get fat in one bite. That's true. I was too impatient. Kong Xiaobo agreed. The main problem now is getting into college. It'd be best if Finn goes to the same school as you. I wonder how she's doing? Lin Yi suggested. I haven't asked about that. How about this? I'll text her later and ask her what she thinks, Kong Xiaobo said. As the two were talking, Xiao Xiao walked in, and Kong Xiaobo gave Lin Yi an ambiguous smile before turning his head away. Xiao Xiao went back to class, thinking about how she could teach Lin Yi a lesson and get him to teach her how to drive. But she couldn't think of anything at the moment. All she could do was stop messing with Lin Yi and stay in a cold war with Lin Yi. She ignored Lin Yi, and Lin Yi naturally wouldn't talk to her either. He was happy to be at peace. Xiao Xiao was thinking about what she could use to blackmail Lin Yi. Her plan to use Meng Yao and Lin Yi's relationship as a bargaining chip had failed. She could tell that Lin Yi really didn't care, so she had to think of something else. Her phone vibrated in her pocket as she thought about it. She took it out and was surprised to see that it was a text from Pin Liang. Lil sis Xiao Xiao, I discussed it with Gao Xiaofu. If you want to blackmail Lin Yi, you can go to the bathroom and take a few pictures of him. Is that okay? Xiao Xiao's eyes lit up after reading the text. This was a good idea. All right, go ahead. Lin Yi smiled. Okay, go ahead. Me. Pin Liang didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he looked at the text in his hand. Would I let you go if I dared to do that? If I went to the bathroom and took pictures of Lin Yi, wouldn't Lin Yi beat me to death? I don't dare. I'm scared of getting beaten up. But I can keep a lookout for you. Pin Liang replied like a gangster, making Xiao Xiao grit her teeth. It seemed like she'd have to do it herself. If Lin Yi didn't give in, she'd threaten him and send his pictures to Meng Yao and Yushu, as well as that commoner beauty. Let's see how embarrassed he'd be then. Men were thick-skinned in certain situations, but Xiao Xiao didn't believe that Lin Yi would be shameless enough to let girls see him pee. Yes, it's decided. Xiao Xiao swung her fist in the air as she made up her mind. The class passed, and Lin Yi didn't go to the bathroom. Xiao Xiao, who'd prepared herself, was a little troubled. Another class passed, and Lin Yi still didn't go to the bathroom. Xiao Xiao was even more troubled. Lin Yi, why aren't you drinking water? Why would I drink water? Plus, what does it have to do with you whether I drink water or not? Aren't you being too nosy? Lin Yi looked at Xiao Xiao annoyed. Chapter 406. You're the one who's sick. Oh. But Lin Yi didn't believe that Xiao Xiao would be so nice as to remind him to drink water when it was hot. Plus, couldn't he drink water himself if it was hot? Did he need someone to remind him? Xiao Xiao's words did make Lin Yi a little thirsty. He reached into his desk and pulled out an empty bottle. He'd finished the water he'd bought yesterday. Here. Xiao Xiao quickly handed her drink to Lin Yi, waiting for Lin Yi to take it. Lin Yi was starting to think that there was something wrong with this Xiao Xiao. She had to be hiding something. Ugh. Xiao Xiao felt that she was being too friendly, and it was normal for Lin Yi to be suspicious. We're desk mates, after all. My teacher said that desk mates should help each other out. Lin Yi would be an idiot to believe her bullshit, but he was indeed thirsty. He took the bottle from Xiao Xiao and was about to open it when he realized that the cap was unscrewed. Lin Yi frowned. Xiao Xiao wouldn't have done something to the drink, would she? She wouldn't do something that tasteless, would she? Xiao Xiao blushed when she saw Lin Yi's hesitation. I had a sip this morning. Lin Yi was speechless. No wonder the cap was unscrewed. But it wasn't that easy to harm him. Ever since he started practicing the art of dragon mastery, Lin Yi's sense of smell and taste had gotten even sharper. He could even detect poisons in food and water. Are you sick? Hepatitis B or AIDS? Lin Yi asked as he took Xiao Xiao's drink. Xiao Xiao was so pissed off that her organs almost exploded. She had hepatitis B and AIDS? What kind of joke was that? She was a pretty girl, wasn't she? If someone else were to drink the water he'd taken a sip from, they'd probably go crazy fighting for it. And this Lin Yi was being so picky, ask some strange questions. Of course, this was under the assumption that people didn't know Xiao Xiao's personality. If they did, they wouldn't even dare drink her water. Wouldn't that be suicidal? You're the one who's sick, Xiao Xiao exploded. Illiterate, haven't you read the science reports? Even if they're hepatitis B and AIDS, they can't spread like this. Oh, Lin Yi smiled faintly. He didn't expect this chick to know so much. He opened the bottle and secretly tasted it with his tongue. When he found that there was no difference, he swallowed it. He drank half of it and stuffed the remaining half directly into the desk. I've drunk it. You don't want it anymore. Give me the rest. Xiao Xiao wasn't planning on drinking anything that Lin Yi had drunk from. How could she keep drinking something that had been drunk from another boy? However, Lin Yi's words made her very indignant. He had clearly drunk her drink, Yet he was still so arrogant and took the rest as his own. Wasn't this too shameless? No. I'm thirsty. Xiao Xiao wasn't going to let Lin Yi have his way. She grabbed the bottle from his desk and twisted the cap open, chugging the rest of the bottle down her throat before glaring at Lin Yi, panting. She almost choked to death. Lin Yi didn't know what to say. Lin Yi didn't really know what to do with this rebellious girl. But he didn't want to argue with her. If she wanted to drink it, then drink it. As long as she didn't cry and puke like the Miss Xiao Xiao didn't think much of it when she drank it, but she regretted it after. How could she drink something that Lin Yi had drunk from? Her first kiss. Just you wait. I'll show you when you need to pee. Xiao Xiao was different from the Mississippi. She didn't like it, but she wouldn't dwell on it. She was just a little annoyed. He tossed the empty bottle into the trash can at the corner of the classroom, only for it to land on Pinliang's head with a loud bang. Ah! Pinliang screamed as he stood up, gritting his teeth. Motherfucker, who was it? Who threw it? Do you want to die? Do you want to die? Pinliang was forced to switch seats by Lin Yi, and he sat in the right corner of the classroom. The trash can was not far behind him. There were always lazy students who didn't want to get up to throw the trash, so they just threw it high up in the air. But now that Pinliang sat there, no one dared to throw it. It wouldn't be a joke if they hit the third of the big four. Lin Yi threw it. Xiao Xiao rolled her eyes as she pointed at Lin Yi. She wanted to cause a conflict between Lin Yi and Pinliang, causing some trouble for Lin Yi. If she admitted that she threw it, Pinliang would probably just sit back down and swallow his grievance. Wah! Pinliang paused, the anger on his face frozen. He felt a little awkward. She wanted him to cause trouble for Lin Yi? He didn't dare do that. Someone as strong as Heibao Bro was crippled by Lin Yi, and his only hope was Zhang Naipeo. Before Naipeo came back, he wouldn't start a conflict with Lin Yi. Pinliang put away his anger and said awkwardly, "It's fine." His anticlimactic performance was a little embarrassing, but it was better than getting beaten up. He'd been beaten up by Lin Yi a couple of times already, and he'd lost face in front of his classmates. One more time wouldn't make much of a difference. I didn't throw it. If it were me, I wouldn't have thrown an empty bottle. Your head would have burst open a long time ago. Lin Yi said faintly. Huh. Pinliang paused. Lin Yi's words were arrogant, but Pinliang didn't doubt the veracity of Lin Yi's words at all. Lin Yi had no reason to lie to him. There were many situations where Lin Yi didn't have a reason to teach him a lesson. He could have just sent him flying with his chair, so if Lin Yi said it wasn't him, then it definitely wasn't him. As long as it wasn't Lin Yi, what was there for Pinliang to be afraid of? His anger flared up again. Who? Who is it? Come out now, or you'll be dead if I find out. Pinliang's behavior made everyone in the class look down on him. He'd lost his temper when he heard that it was Lin Yi, but now that Lin Yi said it wasn't him, he was starting to get angry again. But even so, the students didn't dare say anything. After all, Pinliang didn't dare do anything to Lin Yi, but that didn't mean he wouldn't do the same to other people. Yao Yao, who threw the bottle just now? Did you throw it? Yushu spoke up at that moment, but she purposely raised her voice so that Pinliang could hear her. Chapter 407. Pissed off Pinliang felt a little awkward, his face covered in dirt. Yao Yao threw it? Then it's fine. The crowd looked at him in disdain. Meng Yao threw it, and it was fine? How could there be someone this shameless? She was just yelling about how she was going to beat him up. It wasn't me. I haven't finished my drink yet. Meng Yao frowned. Naturally, she knew that Yushu was messing with Pinliang, but she didn't want people to misunderstand her. She threw a bottle at Pinliang? She didn't even want to hit him. Who did he think he was? With that, Meng Yao took out her drink from her desk and shook it in front of Yushu. Will you die if you don't talk nonsense? I'll pull out your tongue again. Oh, I'll stop, but I won't fall for it again. I won't open my mouth. Yushu covered her mouth. Pinliang's eyes were blazing with fury. Yushu was clearly messing with him, but there was nothing he could do. He couldn't afford to piss off Yushu. Her brother Qinyutian aside, Yushu was Mingyao's best friend, and he didn't dare piss her off. Pinliang could only vent his anger on someone else. I'll count to 3. Who threw the bottle? Step out now, or I'll show you what I'm going to do. Pinliang was really getting agitated. He'd been suppressing his anger time and time again, and now it was all out. He was about to explode. All right, I threw it. Xiao Xiao wasn't expecting this reaction from Pinliang, but seeing Lin Yi looking at her with a smile on his face, she could only stand up and admit it. Even if she didn't, Lin Yi would expose her anyway. But she was wrong. Lin Yi didn't care about something like this, especially when it was Pinliang who got beaten up. Even if he died, it had nothing to do with him. Pinliang didn't think that it was Xiao Xiao who threw the bottle. His face twisted. Pinliang felt like he was going to die. He didn't dare piss off Lin Yi, nor did he dare piss off Mingyao and Yushu, but Xiao Xiao right now was something he couldn't afford to piss off. Lil sis Xiao Xiao. It's fine now, huh? Pinliang held his breath as he sat back in his seat. He felt like a balloon, ready to explode at any moment. However, there was nothing he could do. He couldn't afford to offend them, so he could only hide. Pinliang didn't just embarrass himself a little. The students in the class wanted to laugh, but they didn't dare. Pinliang, on the other hand, knew that he'd embarrassed himself. He wouldn't have stood up if he'd known this was going to happen. He'd shouted 3 times, and it was all embarrassing. How unlucky! Damn it! Ever since Lin Yi transferred to this class, everything has been going wrong for me. Pinliang punched the wall angrily. He could only vent his anger on the wall. Brother Liang, bear with it. When Pao Zi returns from the mountain, it will be the time of Lin Yi's death. Xiaofu already knew where Naipeo was going, and so he was looking forward to seeing him return after completing his studies. Yeah, but now that he's here, I can't even get Meng Yao. My relationship with Meng Yao is getting worse and worse. Pinliang said angrily. Well, those tricks from before aren't working either. Xiaofu was a good strategist, after all. But Liang bro, you need to hurry up. You're graduating soon, and it'll be even harder when you go to university. If we're not in the same faculty, it'll be hard to even see each other. You're right, I need to hurry up. Pinliang nodded. Do you have any good ideas? None of my ideas are working, and I haven't come up with anything yet. Xiaofu shook his head. Forget it. I'll think of something else. Pinliang didn't know what to do. The last class ended, and before lunch break, Lin Yi finally stood up to leave the classroom. Xiao Xiao was overjoyed to see him, and quickly gestured to Pinliang as she called him. You go first. Clear all the other boys in the washroom. I don't want to see people using the washroom when I go in. Pinliang took the order and rushed to the washroom with Xiaofu. They had to clear the washroom before Lin Yi came. Otherwise Xiao Xiao wouldn't be happy if there were other people in the men's washroom. Clear the place. Clear the place. All of you, get the hell out of here. Pinliang didn't dare say anything to Lin Yi, but to these students he was very cocky. It didn't take long for everyone in the washroom to leave, but there was always an exception. A boy with a cigarette in his mouth walked out from a stall, glaring at Pinliang. I say, Liang, you're really something, aren't you? I was just smoking and you came out. It was Zhou Ruoming. Others might be afraid of Pinliang, but he wasn't. He was pissed that Pinliang had disturbed him. Pinliang wouldn't dare start a fight with Zhou Ruoming normally, but today was different. He curled his lips after Zhou Ruoming was done. Ming bro, Xiao Xiao has something to do here later. Don't say I didn't warn you, but if you want to stay here and cause trouble, then stay. Xiao Xiao has something to do here? Ruoming paused, the cigarette in his mouth falling to the ground with a thud. He didn't even bother picking it up. Why didn't you say so earlier? With that, she ran out of the bathroom, not bothering to talk to Pinliang anymore. Pin Liang smiled as he watched Zhou Ruoming run away. It didn't take long for the washroom to become empty. Pin Liang and Xiao Fu stood at the entrance, one on the left and the other on the right. They were like two door gods, stopping anyone who wanted to use the washroom from entering. Lin Yi walked to the washroom door and saw Pin Liang and Xiao Fu standing there. He was confused. "What are you two doing?" It's nothing. We're waiting for someone here." Pin Liang said quickly. "Boss Lin, you need to use the washroom? Welcome, come in." Lin Yi frowned. Was there something wrong with these two? But he still went into the washroom. There wasn't a single soul in the washroom, and Lin Yi subconsciously raised his guard. Pin Liang and Xiao Fu weren't good people. So why would they be waiting in front of the washroom? Was there something going on? Hey, what happened? Did he go in? Xiao Xiao and Lin Yi walked to the washroom door, but Xiao Xiao was afraid that Lin Yi would notice her. She didn't see Lin Yi walk in. Chapter 408. The toilet rained again. Xiao Xiao nodded, satisfied. "Very well, I'll be going in then. You guys keep watch." "Don't worry, Lil Sis Xiao Xiao." Pin Liang nodded. Xiao Xiao took out her phone and set it to camera mode before tiptoeing into the men's washroom. To be honest, she was quite nervous right now, since this was her first time in the men's washroom. Xiao Xiao had been a rebellious girl all these years, and she didn't even blink when she stabbed someone, but she couldn't help but blush at the thought of going to the men's washroom. Xiao Xiao closed her eyes and decided that she'd just walk over and take a bunch of pictures. She was using it to blackmail Lin Yi anyways, so it didn't matter if the pictures were bad or not. Lin Yi was going easy, but he kept his guard up. Lin Yi's heart tightened when he heard the footsteps behind him, but there was no glass in front of him this time, so he couldn't see what was going on behind him. Lin Yi didn't even need to guess to know that it had something to do with Pin Liang. Why else would he be standing at the door with Xiao Fu? What Lin Yi didn't understand was why Pin Liang was so retarded, using the same trick twice. Didn't he remember the lesson from the artificial rain? The jade had a very small warning, meaning that the person wasn't going to kill him, but there was still some hostility. Since it was an enemy, Lin Yi didn't care anymore. He turned around just like last time. "Since you've used the same trick twice, I'll let you do it again." Xiao Xiao was walking forward with her eyes closed, ready to take a picture of Lin Yi when it started raining. She gasped subconsciously and opened her eyes to see what was going on. What she saw made her face turn pale. This wasn't rain. It was Lin Yi's piss. "Ah!" Xiao Xiao screamed again, covering her eyes subconsciously, but her hand was full of water. It was piss. Xiao Xiao was furious and disgusted. "Lin Yi, I'll kill you." After saying that, she couldn't be bothered to pat Lin Yi anymore. She covered her face and hurriedly ran out of the restroom. Pin Liang and Xiao Fu, on the other hand, had been paying attention to what was going on inside the washroom. When Lin Yi used the same trick, Pin Liang knew that this was bad. As expected, Xiao Xiao was drenched in water. She was probably going crazy now, wasn't she? Xiao Xiao stood by the faucet outside the washroom, furiously washing her hair and face with the water. Her body was covered in urine, but there was nothing she could do. She couldn't wash her clothes too, could she? That would be transparent. After washing her hair and face, Xiao Xiao went downstairs. She needed to go buy some clothes and find a hotel to take a shower. She was about to explode. Pin Liang and Xiao Fu didn't know what to say as they listened to the Audi TT's engine roar and watched as Xiao Xiao disappeared in her car like a puff of smoke. Xiao Xiao was probably going crazy from the anger this time. She'd better not vent her anger on the two of them later. "You two, get in here." Lin Yi was scared out of his wits. He never would have thought that it would be Xiao Xiao who entered the washroom. But when he saw the phone in Xiao Xiao's hand, he could guess what was going on. No wonder this girl was so nice this morning. asking him if he was thirsty, even offering him a drink. She wanted to take a picture of him going to the washroom. Lin Yi felt a little awkward about getting Xiao Xiao drenched in the rain. She wasn't Pinliang or Gao Xiaofu after all. She was a girl, and while her motive wasn't pure, wasn't what he did a little too dirty to her? Whatever, he'd let her learn a lesson. Otherwise, she'd bother him all day. But Pinliang and Xiaofu were guarding the washroom door. Lin Yi wasn't planning on letting them go so easily. It was obvious that Xiao Xiao was the main culprit, and these two were accomplices. Why else would they be guarding the door? Pinliang and Xiaofu looked at each other, a bitter smile on their faces. They thought that after Xiao Xiao took a picture of Lin Yi would focus all his attention on her and ignore the two door gods. But now that Xiao Xiao was gone, it was only the two of them left. Pinliang wanted to run, but he knew that as long as he was in Class 5, he wouldn't be able to escape. Lin Yi would catch him sooner or later, and it was only a matter of time before he got beaten up. He might as well make it as soon as possible. Pinliang and Xiaofu walked into the washroom with their heads down, a little scared. Boss Lin, it's not her fault. It's Xiao Xiao. She forced us to do this. Is that so? Lin Yi asked faintly. Yes, it's her. Pinliang nodded quickly. Boss Lin Yi, you don't know how strong Xiao Xiao used to be. She's the fourth of us big four, the last one, but that's because she's a girl. She's a lot fiercer than us. Pinliang wanted to divert Lin Yi's attention to Xiao Xiao so that he wouldn't pay attention to them. Oh, is that so? Lin Yi looked at Pinliang. He wanted to know what kind of person Xiao Xiao was, or he'd be annoyed by her every day. Yes, there was a boy who tried to hit on her, and she kicked him in the balls. Also, there was a gangster who tried to rob the school, and she stabbed him until he was crippled. Pinliang said, So, Boss Lin Yi, she's too fierce. We're not even on the same level. We can't not help her. I see. Lin Yi nodded. Then let's forget about it. Thank you, Boss Lin Yi. Thank you, Boss Lin Yi. Pinliang and Xiaofu were overjoyed that Lin Yi wasn't going to pursue the matter anymore. Don't celebrate too early. Let's not forget about this matter. There are other things. Lin Yi said faintly. Even if she forced you to do it, what do you think would happen to you too if I told her that the two of you had already been drenched in the rain once, but I didn't warn her and let her take the risk? What do you think would happen to the two of you? Wouldn't you get your balls kicked in? Wah! Pinliang was stunned, not expecting Lin Yi to threaten him, but he was really scared now. If Lin Yi really told Xiao Xiao about this, he'd die a horrible death. Xiao Xiao would probably drive him to the toilet with a knife and force him to eat shit as an apology. Chapter 409. Chapter 409. I'll go see you. Pinliang scolded himself silently. The reason why he didn't mention it was because it was simply too embarrassing. He, Naipeo, and Xiaofu hadn't been able to beat Lin Yi at all, and they'd been put in such a difficult position. How could he talk about something as embarrassing as that? But now he regretted it. If he'd known this would happen, he'd have warned Xiao Xiao even if it meant embarrassing himself. He was done for now. If Xiao Xiao found out the truth, the consequences would be dire. Boss Lin Yi, you wouldn't do this to us, would you? Pinliang begged, his face bitter. He'd rather get beaten up by Lin Yi. Two choices. One, kneel in the toilet for 10 minutes and leave. Or I'll tell Xiao Xiao the truth. Lin Yi said. All right, I'll kneel. Pinliang felt disgusted by kneeling in a toilet full of urine. But compared to telling Xiao Xiao the truth, he'd rather kneel on the ground, or he'd die a horrible death. All right, I'm leaving. Lin Yi wasn't in the mood to deal with these two idiots. He just wanted to teach them a lesson, and whether they kneeled or not depended on themselves. Lin Yi said, You can try to fake it, but I might be everywhere. Don't worry, Boss Lin Yi. Pinliang shivered. He'd wanted to wait for Lin Yi to leave before leaving, but Lin Yi's words scared the shit out of him. Come to think of it, Lin Yi really did seem to be everywhere. Every time he was feeling good, he'd be there to mess things up. Pin Liang was speechless. Was Lin Yi sent by the heavens to purposely go against him? Can Xiaofu and I take turns kneeling? We'll have someone to keep a lookout. Whatever. 10 minutes per person. As long as it's enough. Lin Yi turned around and left. Kong Xiaobo took advantage of the lunch break to look for Xiaofan. The knot in Xiaofan's heart was untied, and she became much more cheerful. Kong Xiaobo's heart seemed to have been set, and his contact with Xiaofan became more frequent. Lin Yi guessed that he was looking for Xiaofan to discuss the future of university, so he didn't disturb him. Instead, he called Tang Yin, but he was surprised to know that Tang Yin wasn't at school either. She went to the hospital to take care of her father for lunch. During the day, Mrs. Tang resumed her business at the food street behind the school. The task of bringing lunch to Tang Juqing fell on Tang Yin's shoulders. Mrs. Tang prepared the food at home and brought it to school. She then set up a stall to do business, and Tang Yin brought the food to the hospital. Why didn't you say anything? I'll just send you there. Lin Yi frowned. Tang Yin took the bus to the hospital alone, and it would take up a lot of time. I was afraid that you would be busy, so I didn't want to disturb you. Tang Yin was happy to hear Lin Yi's words. I thought you sent Kong Xiaobo back to find Xiaofan. Why would I send him back if he's looking for Xiaofan? He's not my wife. Lin Yi was speechless. Idiot. Tang Yin understood the meaning behind Lin Yi's words. If she was his wife, why would he send her back? What did he mean by sending her to the hospital? Was she his wife? Haha, I'll go pick you up, and I'll check on Uncle Tang's condition. Lin Yi had nothing to do in school, and it would be troublesome when Xiao Xiao came back. It was better to leave now. Okay, I'll wait for you in the ward, Tang Yin said. Tang Yin wanted to reject it at first. Lunch time was tight, and she didn't want Lin Yi to run around. But he said he wanted to check on her father, so she agreed. See you later. Lin Yi hung up and went to the food street behind the school to get his car. Tang Yin put her phone away happily, but when she turned around, she saw her father smiling at her. Tang Yin felt a little embarrassed. Mr. and Mrs. Tang didn't object to Lin Yi's forceful intervention. Tang Juqing had to thank Lin Yi for the surgery. If it wasn't for Lin Yi, he would still be lying at home. Is it Lin Yi? Tang Juqing asked. Yeah. He said he wanted to see you. Tang Yin knew that Lin Yi had medical skills, but she thought he only knew a little. But after what happened yesterday, Fatty Lai kneeling on the ground and crying, Lu Tiany's flattery towards Lin Yi, and Xu Amin's respect towards Lin Yi, Tang Yin was completely shocked. Even when she arrived at the hospital, she was still unable to calm her excitement for a long time. It seemed that she had underestimated Lin Yi. Lin Yi wasn't like what she had imagined. A rich young master who used his family's money to bully others. Lin Yi's arrogance was completely based on his own ability. If it wasn't for Lin Yi's ability, why would he be respected and recognized by so many people? Fatty Lai didn't know the details. Maybe he was hot-headed. But Lu Tiany and Xu Amin wouldn't be hot-headed as well, would they? It seemed that Lin Yi's medical skills weren't as simple as a little bit. It was extremely shocking. Tang Yin was proud of Lin Yi, but at the same time, her fragile heart was also a little hesitant. Lin Yi was so outstanding. Was she worthy of him? Would he not want her in the future? Her family didn't have money, and she couldn't help him much. The only thing she could say was that she was a little prettier, but there were so many beautiful girls out there. Why did Lin Yi choose her? Tang Yin didn't want to think about these things. They were still young, and there was still a long way to go before marriage. But seeing how outstanding Lin Yi was, Tang Yin couldn't help but think about these things. Lin Yi prepared to go to the food street behind the school to get his car. Nowadays, the food street vendors had reserved a parking space for Lin Yi every day. Who would dare to mess with this young master? Mrs. Tang's business was booming as well, and no one dared to be jealous of her anymore. Anyone who dared to be jealous would be looking for death. Everyone, including Zhang Biaoqiao, was very polite to Mrs. Tang. Mrs. Tang hadn't come to the stall for a few days, and no one dared to take her spot. When Mrs. Tang came, everyone greeted her warmly and asked why she hadn't come for a few days. Mrs. Tang was flattered, but at the same time, she felt more and more grateful to Lin Yi. Her family was finally doing well. She believed that things would only get better and better in the future. Her business was doing well, and her man had his surgery. She believed that he would be able to stand up soon. Even if he couldn't walk normally, it wouldn't be a problem if he limped a little. He would be able to help her with her work. Mrs. Tang's face was full of smiles as she thought about her bright future. She looked a few years younger, and the male vendors all looked at her in awe. Chapter 410. Welcome. Lin Yi saw that Mrs. Tang had opened her stall in the food street behind the school. He walked over to greet her with a smile. Auntie, business back? Yi, it's been a few days. Your Uncle Tang's fine now, so I'm going to open my stall. Mrs. Tang had wanted to talk to Lin Yi a bit, but Lin Yi took out his car keys. You going out? I'm going to the hospital to pick her up and see Uncle Tang. Lin Yi nodded. Then hurry up and go. Be careful on the way. Mrs. Tang was overjoyed to hear that Lin Yi was going to pick up her daughter. Nothing was happier than seeing how well Lin Yi treated her daughter. Right, have you eaten yet? Not yet. We'll talk about it when we get there. Lin Yi didn't hide it. Just in time. I've got 2 chicken drumsticks here. Eat them first. Don't starve. Mrs. Tang said as she quickly put some seasoning on the drumsticks and handed them to Lin Yi. Lin Yi accepted the drumstick with a smile, nodded to Mrs. Tang, and got in the car to leave. Ling Shan rushed to Songshan's First People's Hospital the moment she received the report. The 6th, it was already the 6th. Ling Shan rubbed her temples, feeling the pressure. It hadn't even been a week, and there were already 6 cases of homeless, beggars, or disabled people getting their kidneys cut off and dumped near the hospital. This wasn't just a simple crime anymore. Ling Shan guessed that it might be the work of a criminal gang. How is it? Ling Shan got out of the police car and saw her subordinate, Lu Wanli, standing in a corner with a police tape. Captain Song, the victim's been sent to the emergency room, and I'm sending people to investigate the scene. This isn't the first crime scene. The victim's left kidney was cut off and dumped here. The time of the crime is estimated to be around 4 in the morning, and the victim was left here around 11 in the afternoon. There's too many cars going in and out of the hospital, and we haven't found any witnesses yet. Wanli reported with a bitter smile. He knew that Ling Shan was under a lot of pressure. This was the 6th case, and it wasn't a joke. Although the higher-ups didn't specify the time to solve the case, it was only a matter of time. The victims were all beggars, homeless people, and handicapped people, but they were still important to Ling Shan. No matter who they were, Ling Shan had to work hard to solve this case, bring the mastermind to justice. Ling Shan nodded weakly. How's Lu Buijia? Lu Buijia was the victim of the murder maniac from before. Although Lu Buijia didn't say anything, Ling Shan hadn't stopped investigating him. Finally, she found a rather suspicious clue. At around 6:00 on the night Lu Buijia's family was killed, someone called the police from the public phone booth in Lu Buijia's neighborhood. According to the operator who answered the call, there was a man who panicked and said that he had discovered an organ trafficking ring and that it was likely that they had already discovered him. He wanted to seek police protection. He didn't make any sense at the time, and he didn't give his contact number either. The operator could only ask the police to contact the public phone booth, but no one picked up. They sent people to the phone booth, but they didn't find anything out of the ordinary, so they could only retreat. The incident passed just like that because no one paid much attention to it. However, Ling Shan only found this clue when she checked the call records that night. Organ trafficking ring? Could it be related to the 6 kidney cases? Only now did Ling Shan feel that Lu Buijia's family had something to do with the kidney case. Lu Buijia still hasn't woken up, and he's on a ventilator every day. The doctor said that once the ventilator is removed, he'll die. Lu Wanli sighed and shook his head with a bitter smile. What he meant was that there was no need to waste any energy. Ling Shan frowned, but there was nothing she could do. She knew Lu Bujia's situation, and she always hoped for a miracle to happen, even if it was just for a moment. It'd be enough to give the police some clues. But the miracle didn't happen. Before Lu Bujia was attacked, he kept quiet every day, as if he was afraid of something. If he got tired of being interrogated, he'd tell Ling Shan that his family was already dead, that he was already miserable enough, and that he didn't want to die, so he asked Ling Shan to let him go. At that time, Lu Bujia was still in the hospital, so Ling Shan wasn't too worried. She thought that after Lu Bujia was discharged, she'd strengthen her psychological attack, and she'd be able to get some information out of him. But something unexpected happened. Beep. Lin Yi pressed on the car horn twice, wondering why this song girl was blocking the entrance of the hospital. Was she even going to let him pass? When the other cars saw Ling Shan and Lu Wanli standing in front of the hospital in uniform, as well as the police investigating something, they all took a detour and entered the hospital from the back door. Only Lin Yi dared to press on the horn. What are you honking for? Don't you know how to enter from the back door? Ling Shan was a little annoyed. She was thinking about the case in her head when a car horn interrupted her. She couldn't help but frown. You think everyone's like you, getting into the police force through the back door? Lin Yi curled his lips, mocking her. Ling Shan only realized now that it was Lin Yi who was pressing on the horn. Her face paled when she heard what he said. What did you say? Who's getting in through the back door? Who knows? Lin Yi curled his lips. Move aside. I still have things to do. I don't have time to waste with you. With that, Lin Yi started the car, wanting to enter the hospital. Wait. Ling Shan suddenly stood in front of Lin Yi's car, not letting him go. The more impatient Lin Yi was, the more Ling Shan didn't want him to get what he wanted. I have something to talk to you about. Lin Yi slammed on the brakes, stopping the car. He was a little speechless. I say, dumb girl, even if your crime-solving rate is low, you don't have to think about suicide, do you? Even if you want me to run you over, you should find a place with no one around, right? You're trying to scam me in front of all your underlings. I won't be able to explain myself even if I run you over. You. Ling Shan was furious, gritting her teeth as she glared at Lin Yi. If you call me dumb girl again, or that I got into the police force through the back door, I won't be polite to you anymore. So you've been very polite to me all this time? Lin Yi laughed. Then I'd really like to see what you'll be like. You're welcome to do so. Chapter 411. Did you think I'm a fortune teller? In actuality, the police had heard it, but they'd misunderstood, thinking that Lin Yi was Ling Shan's rumored boyfriend. Who would dare talk to Ling Shan like that? Ling Shan wouldn't let him live, would she? Lin Yi, I need to talk to you about something serious. Ling Shan gritted her teeth as she pulled open Lin Yi's passenger door and got in. It didn't matter if Lin Yi was lucky or lucky in the previous cases. He'd solve them anyway. Ling Shan just so happened to run into Lin Yi, and since the guy was still so cocky, she'd use him again. Let's see if he can solve another case. Oh, what is it? Lin Yi rolled his eyes. She was begging him to do something right after scolding him? This woman's brain structure was quite something. Don't come to me if it's serious. I'm pressed for time. Ling Shan's eyes widened. What did she mean by don't come to him for serious business? Did she have to come to him for anything other than serious business? I'll give you a minute, speak. Lin Yi parked the car in the hospital's parking lot, and someone came to collect the parking fee. Lin Yi pointed at Ling Shan. This is our captain song. She's here for a case. The person who collected the parking fee knew that there was a case near the hospital, and so he took one look at Ling Shan's uniform before sticking a free sticker in front of Lin Yi's car window and leaving. Lin Yi didn't really care about the few kwai parking fee, but the problem was that this old woman had overcharged Lin Yi 5 kwai last time, saying that Lin Yi had parked for 2 hours when Lin Yi had parked for an hour. She'd even pointed at the time on the sticker and showed it to Lin Yi. Lin Yi knew that the woman must have written the time a little earlier when he parked, but he couldn't be bothered to argue with her. He paid the money and left, but the school only had a 1-hour lunch break, so how could he park for 2 hours? Ling Shan was here this time, and he'd be able to take advantage of her. Ling Shan didn't know what was going on, but seeing how Lin Yi was using her to save 5 kwai on parking fees, she glared at Lin Yi with disdain. There's been a lot of cases of beggars, homeless people, and disabled people getting their kidneys cut off and dumped in front of the hospital. Do you know about that? I think I heard it mentioned in the news. When Lin Yi was driving in the morning, he seemed to have heard it mentioned on the radio, but he didn't pay attention to it. Lin Yi rarely paid attention to things that had nothing to do with him. What do you think? Do you know who the murderer is? Ling Shan asked. Lin Yi looked at Ling Shan oddly. I don't think you should be asking me that. Oh. Ling Shan blinked. Do you think I'm a fortune teller who can predict the future? Only a master can answer your question. Lin Yi shrugged. All right, it's a waste of time talking to you. I'm leaving. Wait. Ling Shan pulled Lin Yi back. Then how did you catch those bank robbers last time? How did I catch them last time? I told you. Lin Yi was getting impatient, but Ling Shan wouldn't let him go if he didn't explain things clearly. He could only patiently explain. I can help you catch criminals, but you have to give me a range. I'll only help you when you're sure. Otherwise, I'll really become a god. Ling Shan thought about it. Lin Yi was right. If he knew everything, then he'd really be a fortune teller. Then I'll look for you when I have something. Ling Shan didn't want to let Lin Yi go. All right. Lin Yi nodded and walked into the hospital. Ling Shan followed Lin Yi to the hospital. She wanted to check on Bujia's condition and ask the doctor if there was any hope for him to wake up. The police officers guarding Bujia's room all stood up and saluted when they saw Ling Shan. Captain Song. Ling Shan waved her hand. Is the doctor here? The doctor is in the office. Captain Song, follow me? One of the officers said. Ling Shan nodded and followed the officer to the doctor's office. The officer introduced. This is Bujia's main doctor, Dr. Yang. Hello, Dr. Yang, I'm Ling Shan. Ling Shan politely shook hands with the doctor. Dr. Yang, how's Bujia's condition? Is there any chance of him waking up? I've tried my best, but there's no effect. Dr. Yang smiled apologetically. Captain Song, there's nothing else I can do. I can only maintain it for now. So you're saying that there's no chance for him to recover from our hospital? Ling Shan looked at the doctor, disappointed. Is there any hope if we transfer him to another hospital? Our Songshan's first hospital is the best hospital in Songshan. We can only transfer him to another hospital out of town, but I'm afraid the patient can't handle it. Dr. Yang shook his head. So there's really no hope? Ling Shan sighed. This Bujia would have caught the culprit if he'd told them the truth earlier. At that time, that psychopathic murderer might not even bother looking for him anymore. It's not that there's no hope. Dr. Yang hesitated. If you know Professor Guan Shuamin from Songshan's Medical University, you can try acupuncture. But he doesn't do it easily. Professor Guan. Ling Shan naturally had heard of this name. He was a famous Eastern doctor in Songshan, known as Miracle Dr. Guan. Huaijuan had a good relationship with him and had been treating him all this time. Ling Shan wouldn't be so sure if it were someone else, but with Huaijuan's help, Professor Guan would definitely be able to make him do it. Ling Shan felt relieved at the thought. Thank you, Dr. Yang, I think I have an idea. Haha, it's nothing. I'm just trying my best. Dr. Yang nodded with a smile. Ling Shan dialed Huaijuan's number after leaving the doctor's office. Song, you're in trouble again? Huaijuan picked up the phone with a smile on his face. He'd been in a good mood lately. Not only had he been promoted, but most importantly, the number of times his injuries had flared up had decreased. It had been half a month now, from once a day to once a day. This was only the first stage of treatment, and the results were already so obvious. Lin, he said that he'd change his bandages and add acupuncture after a month. Just how powerful would that be? Huaijuan was looking forward to it. Yang bro. Ling Shan was a little embarrassed. Huaijuan had hit the nail on the head. I do have something to ask of you. Speak, what is it? Huaijuan had always treated Ling Shan as his little sister, and so he took special care of her. Chapter 412. You still need to find Lin. Who is it? Huaijuan asked. Guan Shuamin, Professor Guan, the one who's been treating you, Yang bro. Ling Shan called Huaijuan bro Yang in private. It sounded more intimate. Oh, Elder Guan? Huaijuan blinked. If you're looking for him, then don't go looking for him. Go look for Lin Yi. Look for Lin Yi? Ling Shan blinked as well. What for? If you look for Elder Guan, he'll recommend Lin Yi to you as well. Huaijuan smiled. Ling Shan was still a little puzzled. Why was Huaijuan telling her to look for Lin Yi all the time? Was Lin Yi omnipotent? She'd asked him to help her catch the culprit, but he didn't know about it. Why would he have a solution for Lu Buijia? But Huaijuan must have his reasons for saying that. Ling Shan didn't trust Lin Yi that much, but she trusted Huaijuan 100%. With that thought, she dialed up Lin. Hey, Lin Yi pushed open Tang Juqing's door and walked in. The father and daughter were talking about something, and Tang Yin immediately shut her mouth when she saw Lin Yi. Her face reddened. You, why didn't you knock? Tang Juqing was all smiles. Lily, you're here, come sit. Ying, get your classmate some water and peel an apple. No need for that. Lin Yi waved his hand. We don't have much time for lunch. I'll go back with Tang Yin after checking on your injuries. All right, what should I do? Juqing was very happy. His daughter had told him about the miraculous scene yesterday, and he was both satisfied and panicking at the same time. He didn't know if Lin Yi would be interested in his daughter. It's fine, Uncle Tang, you can just lie on your side. Lin Yi walked over with a smile and took out a box of silver needles from his pocket. It was the one he used to perform acupuncture on Lu Jinhu, and he'd kept it with him ever since. Okay. Tang Juqing quickly cooperated with Lin Yi and turned his body sideways. Lin Yi seemed to be casually poking a needle into Tang Juqing's waist, making Tang Yin jump in fright. She patted her chest in relief when she saw that her father didn't seem to be affected by it. Do you feel anything? Lin Yi asked. No. Tang Juqing shook his head slightly. Lin Yi frowned and began to turn the needle handle in his hand. Then he asked, Do you feel anything now? No. Tang Juqing shook his head again. Lin Yi's expression froze slightly. Juqing didn't see it, but Tang Yin did. She couldn't help but feel nervous, but she didn't dare to ask. She was afraid that her father's happy mood would fall to the bottom again. How do you feel here? Lin Yi changed the position of the needle. A little numb. Tang Juqing responded this time. My waist feels itchy. It's all right, it's not a big problem. Lin Yi smiled. Is that so? That's good. Juqing was overjoyed to hear Lin Yi's words. His daughter had told him a lot about how amazing Lin Yi was before Lin Yi came, and now that he saw Lin Yi's amazing acupuncture skills, he was even more impressed. Uncle Tang, forgive me for being blunt. Your left leg is fine, but there's something wrong with your right leg. Lin Yi didn't hide it. He didn't need to hide it anymore. He'd find out after a few days. Only one leg. Isn't that a cripple? Tang Yin said, subconsciously, startled. She realized that it wasn't the right thing to say. Her father would be upset if she said that in front of him. Oh, only one leg can move? That's not bad. It's much better than lying on the bed and not being able to do anything. She can even help her mom. Juching didn't think too much about it. It was only a short moment of shock before he recovered his happiness. It was fine as long as he was stronger than he was now. What was the point of asking so much? It's good that you have this mentality, Uncle Tang. Lin Yi thought that he'd have to comfort Juching, but he didn't expect him to be so open-minded. It saved him a lot of words. But don't be discouraged, Uncle Tang. I'll give you acupuncture a few times when you're fully recovered. Then I'll bring the herbs from my hometown. You can get rid of your crutches then. Really? Tang Yin had already accepted reality helplessly, but her eyes widened when she heard that Lin Yi had a way. There's a way. Uncle Tang's situation is similar to Fun's, so of course there's a way. Lin Yi smiled. So Uncle Tang doesn't have to worry about it. It's just a neurological problem. That's good, that's good. Juching was overjoyed when he heard this unexpected surprise. He thought that there was no hope, but Lin Yi said that it could be cured. Thank you. Tang Yin pursed her lips. There were many words of gratitude in her heart, but when it came to her mouth, it became the simplest word. Isn't it a piece of cake? Lin Yi smiled. His phone rang. Lin Yi made an apologetic gesture and took out his phone. He looked at the caller ID and didn't want to pick it up. It was Ling Shan. What was this girl doing calling him again? Was there something else? Who's calling? Why aren't you picking it up? Tang Yin looked at Lin Yi curiously. Miss Braindead, Lin Yi said and hung up. Miss Braindead. Tang Yin paused. She didn't know who Lin Yi was talking about. It's Song Ling Shan. You've met her before. I helped her rescue a hostage last time, Lin Yi said. Oh, Officer Song. She must be looking for you for something important, right? Why aren't you picking up? Tang Yin remembered. What if you need her help in the future? Tang Yin had been struggling at the bottom of society for too long. To her, it was good to have a friend, especially a powerful police officer. It would be easier for her to help in the future. Trouble her? It's good enough that she doesn't trouble me. Lin Yi's phone rang again. It was Ling Shan again. Lin Yi had no choice but to pick it up. Hello? Miss Braindead, are you done? What else do you want? Lin Yi and Tang Yin didn't stop even after a few sentences. Naturally, he was angry. Ling Shan didn't know how to pick a time to call. Say. Ling Shan wanted to say, Who are you calling, Miss Braindead? But she held it back. She needed help from Lin Yi, so she was prepared to be scolded. All right, Miss Braindead wants to talk to you. Chapter 413. Chapter 413. Changing Tactics. Ha! Speak, what's up? Lin Yi was happy. He didn't really want to pick up the call. But what else could Lin Yi say when Ling Shan admitted that she was Miss Braindead? Ling Shan was overjoyed upon hearing Lin Yi's words. This Lin Yi was amenable to coaxing, but not coercion. It seemed like she'd have to change her tactics a little when she asked for help, making it hard for him to reject. The person that the psycho stabbed that day. Do you have a way to wake him up? Ling Shan asked. Which one? The one in Guan Xian's room? Lin Yi thought about it. The only psycho he knew was the one from that day. That's right, he's unconscious right now, and he's being kept alive by a ventilator. Do you have a way? Ling Shan asked hopefully. Oh. Lin Yi had actually checked on Bujia's condition that day. It was very serious. Can you do it or not? Ling Shan pressed after seeing Lin Yi's silence. What's in it for you? Lin Yi asked after some thought. Benefits. Ling Shan was about to say nope, but remembered that Lin Yi wasn't part of the police force, and he had no obligation to help her all the time. I can apply for an honorary police officer position for you, and you'll get some salary every month, but not a lot. Not interested. Lin Yi rejected immediately. What kind of benefits was that? He'd probably be forced to work for Ling Shan all day, just for that little bit of salary. Then what do you want? Ling Shan asked. I'll write it down first. I can't think of anything right now. Lin, he didn't want any benefits right now, but he was just saying it out of convenience. Helping Miss Song was the same as helping Huaijuan after all. It had to be Huaijuan's doing after all, and he had to give Huaijuan some face even if he didn't help Ling Shan. Where's the patient? I'll go take a look. He's in the ICU on the 12th floor. You'll see him when you get up. We have people at the door. Ling Shan was still wondering what benefits Lin Yi would ask for, not expecting Lin Yi to agree so easily. Okay, wait for me. Lin Yi hung up and turned to Tang Yun. Are you coming with me? Go and do your work. I won't get involved. I'll accompany Dad down there. Tang Yin hesitated. Ling Shan was very pretty, and it gave her a sense of urgency. But from the looks of things, Lin Yi didn't like Ling Shan at all. He wouldn't be calling her an idiot otherwise. Moreover, Lin Yi wasn't there to play. He was busy with official business. Okay, I'll find you later. Let's go back to school together. Lin Yi nodded and walked out of the ward. Lin Yi took the elevator to the 12th floor. Sure enough, as soon as he stepped out of the elevator, he saw 2 police officers sitting at the door of a ward. Lin Yi quickly walked over. Mr. Lin Yi, right? Captain Song is waiting for you inside. The police officers at the door nodded to Lin Yi, indicating that he could go in. Lin Yi walked in and saw a large ventilator with a person lying under it. It was Lu Buijia from the other day. He was very thin and haggard. Ling Shan was standing beside the ventilator, not knowing what to do. She quickly asked when she saw Lin Yi come in. Lin Yi, do you have any ideas? Lin Yi didn't say anything. He walked over and checked on Buijia's condition. After a while, he slowly shook his head and said, It's very troublesome. Troublesome. But Lin Yi didn't say it was impossible. It meant that he had a way. Ling Shan's nervous heart relaxed. You have a way? Yes, but I don't think it's worth it. It's a waste of energy. Lin Yi shook his head. Ling Shan gritted her teeth. She didn't think that Lin Yi was putting on airs. Dr. Yang had already explained the situation. Even the hospital couldn't do anything. If Lin Yi had a way, it wouldn't be easy. Miss Braindead, I'm begging you, okay? Ling Shan clenched her teeth as she spat out the words. She knew that Lin Yi could be persuaded by reason, but not cowed by force. Although the nickname Miss Braindead made her want to die and drag Lin Yi down with her, she had to endure it for the sake of Lin Yi's work. She swore to herself that if Lin Yi were to fall into her hands one day, she wouldn't let him get away scot-free. I'll try. Lin Yi didn't know what to say. He couldn't reject Ling Shan's request. But my medical skills aren't good enough. I can only wake him up, but I can't guarantee how long he'll live. There are too many problems in his body. So you're saying that you still have a chance to heal him and not just wake him up? Ling Shan understood what Lin Yi meant. I can't, but my old man is close. Lin Yi said. But my old man won't come. If you want him to die, I'll wake him up now. If you want him to live, don't touch him for now. Let him lie down first. Ling Shan was in a difficult position. She wanted to find clues as soon as possible, but if Lin Yi had a chance to heal Buijia, she would rather not have this clue. She didn't have a way before. Getting Buijia to say a few words was already good enough. But now that Lin Yi had a way, she couldn't sacrifice an innocent person for nothing. Call me when you're done. I'm going back. Lin Yi knew what Ling Shan was thinking. He smiled. Lunch break time is limited. Don't think about it. Wait until you have a way to heal him. Ling Shan shook her head. Oh, Lin Yi was surprised. He didn't expect Ling Shan to be this decisive. He had underestimated her. Her sense of justice and responsibility was quite strong. All right, I'll try my best. I'll give you an answer as soon as possible. This time, it was Ling Shan's turn to be surprised. She didn't expect Lin Yi to say something like that. Every time she looked for Lin Yi, he'd always give her all sorts of excuses and excuses. But this time he said that he'd try his best and as soon as possible. Ling Shan couldn't get used to this. Wasn't this a little too fast? Could it be that her soft attitude brought about the effect? It had to be. As expected, he was amenable to coaxing, but not coercion. Then Miss Braindead will wait for your call. Ling Shan felt that it was very awkward to say it out, but fortunately her men were outside. No one could see them. She could just treat it as a whisper to Linny. As long as the kid was willing to help, it didn't matter if she was a little brain-dead. Who asked him to be stronger than her? Lin Yi acted as if he didn't know Ling Shan at all. She'd called him Miss Braindead 3 times already, and was willing to call herself Miss Braindead for help. Chapter 414. A strange analysis report Ling Shan finally exploded as she watched Lin Yi leave. She clenched her teeth and swung her fist at the wall. Lin Yi, I'll punch you to death. You bastard. How dare you give me a nickname? Miss Braindead. Miss Braindead. You're Miss Braindead. Pum. 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 Ling Shan threw 5 punches in one go, only stopping when her hand started hurting. She stormed out of the room, her 2 lackeys sitting up straight. They'd heard the commotion in the room, too, and knew that Ling Shan was pissed. They didn't want to mess with her right now. Fatty Lai couldn't believe his eyes. His old man was awake. Not only was he awake, he could talk and eat. Dad, are you all right? Are you all right? Fatty Lai was so excited that he almost fainted. I'll go get the doctor. Wait for me. Fatty Lai dashed out of the room and shouted, Doctor? Where's the doctor? Someone come. What's wrong? What's wrong? The doctor thought that something had happened in the room and rushed over. But when he entered the room, he realized that Fatty Lai's father was awake. Doctor, please check on my dad. Is he all right? What Fatty Lai wanted to do the most right now was run to Lin Yi's side and kowtow a couple of times. What a benefactor. The doctor frantically called for a nurse to do a checkup on the old man, but the report surprised him even more. All the indicators were clearly much better than before, and while the uremia wasn't completely cured, it was getting better. How is this possible? How is this possible? The doctor stared at the report in his hands, dumbfounded. He'd just told Chang Tian yesterday that there was nothing he could do. So why was Elder Lai awake today? This didn't make any sense. Right. The doctor suddenly remembered something. This Lai Changyi had gotten some pill of life extension and toxin cleansing from God knows where, and wanted to give it to Elder Lai. Could it be that the pill was working? Other than that, he couldn't think of any other possibilities. At that thought, the doctor hurriedly asked, Mr. Lai, did you give your father that pill of life extension and toxin cleansing? I've taken it. How was it? It's effective, right? Ha! I told you it would work. Fatty Lai was grinning from ear to ear as he looked at the report. Not even half of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing had such miraculous effects. If he could get his hands on a whole pill, wouldn't his father's illness be under control immediately? Fatty Lai, on the other hand, didn't expect his father to fully recover. As long as the disease was under control, it would be fine. The old man was getting on in years, and it was his only wish to live as long as he could. It's really effective. The doctor wiped the sweat on his forehead. I've never seen such a miraculous effect. Mr. Lai, forgive me for being blunt, but you should bring the old man to that expert. I can't do anything about it. The doctor had received a lot of red packets from the Lai brothers, so he told the truth and pointed out the right path for Fatty Lai. Sigh. Fatty Lai's face turned sour at the doctor's words. Would the expert even care about me? The doctor shook his head, thinking that it was true. If the expert really was the expert, he wouldn't care about a crybaby like Fatty Lai crying all the time. He was an adult, shouldn't he be ashamed? Then let him rest in the hospital for now. I'll try my best. The doctor said, Oh, right, you have to keep this a secret. Don't tell anyone. Fatty Lai suddenly thought of something and reminded her. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. The doctor nodded. Am I an idiot? Not only will I offend you, but it won't do me any good either. If I keep quiet, the outside world will think that I cured old Lai, and my reputation will increase. Lai Changtian's face was very ugly as he rushed to the hospital. His father was really awake, and he seemed to be in good spirits. He didn't think that his brother would be able to wake the old man up by a fluke. But this meant that the agreement Lai Changyi had written was no longer effect. The old man was still alive, and Lai Changyi had no right to decide the ownership of the electronics park. Chang Tian could only give his best wishes and congratulations to the old man, but in his heart he was thinking of ways to trick the old man into making the agreement he signed with Lai Changyi a reality. Donghai, House Kang's villa. Dr. Kong looked at the analysis report in his hands with a strange expression on his face. If it weren't for the fact that this report was personally verified by Kong Mingming himself, Dr. Kong would have thought that he was being played. Dog poop? The main ingredient of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is dog poop? Are you sure you're not mistaken? Dr. Kong stared at the report, his face full of disbelief. No. Zhao Long shook his head. Grandpa, I've had people analyze it many times, and the conclusion is that it's most similar to dog poop. Dog poop? Could it be that dog poop has something to do with life extension and toxin cleansing? Dr. Kong couldn't understand how dog poop could have such an effect. But Grandpa, I really do feel great. After Kong Xiaoming got what he wanted, he didn't pretend to be sick anymore. The next day he appeared in the living room of House Kong, full of energy and vigor. Grandpa, I feel much better. I won't lie to you guys, I used to have a weak kidney, but now, Kong Mingming didn't continue, but everyone understood what he meant. He was the most useless playboy in the family, always hanging around with women. No one doubted his words. Xiaoming, you really feel great? Dr. Kong found this very strange. Dog poop could be used to treat illnesses? Yeah, Grandpa, I really feel great right now. Kong Mingming nodded, as if he was showing off a treasure. Grandpa, actually, I think that the main ingredient of this medicine is dog poop. It's not that surprising. Oh, what do you mean? Dr. Kang's interest was piqued. If it were in the past, he wouldn't have paid any attention to this grandson. He was just a playboy, using his family's name to eat and wait for his death. But ever since Kong Mingming used his own body to test the medicine, Dr. Kong started to value Kong Ming more. He wanted to hear what he had to say now that he had something to say. Chapter 415. Kong Family Alliance by Marriage Slap. Miracle Dr. Kong slapped his thigh as he stood up excitedly. You've woken me up from my daydream. You've really woken me up. Xiaoming, you're right. If urine can cure diseases, why can't poop? Yeah, Grandpa, don't people say that dog poop stinks? That proves that dog poop stinks, and no one has ever eaten dog poop before because it stinks too much. Kong Mingming said. But it's possible that someone accidentally discovered the secret of dog poop and created this pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. In fact, it's possible that this thing is made up of dog poop. Grandpa, Xiaoming's right. Zhao Long couldn't let Kong Mingming steal all the limelight. He used to be the best of the younger generation in the house, so he quickly interjected. Grandpa, I think so too. Look at this so-called dog treasure. It's just a stone in a dog's stomach. If it were any other animal, the stone would be trash, but it's a treasure in a dog's body. So I don't think dog poop is a bad thing. It's probably the main ingredient of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Yeah, Xiaolong's right. Dr. Kong nodded. I didn't dote on you guys for nothing. With you two brothers in this generation, House Kong will be even more glorious. I'm glad. If this pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is made, you two will be the biggest contributors. You two will get the majority of the shares. Thank you, Grandpa. Xiaolong and Kong Mingming were very happy. They'd gotten the shares of the new medicine with just a few words. It was too easy. How about this, Xiaolong? Get someone to collect some dog poop and we'll do an experiment, Dr. Kong ordered. Make the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing as soon as possible. House Kang's status will rise even higher this way. The golden creation medicine from before will be a piece of cake. No problem, Grandpa. I'll get someone to do this right away and get it done as soon as possible. Xiaolong nodded. Yes, very good. Miracle Dr. Kong said. There's another important thing I need to talk about. It's about your marriage, Xiaolong. My marriage? What do you mean? Xiaolong blinked. I don't have a girlfriend yet. What marriage? Xiaolong was different from Xiaoming. Xiaoming was a playboy, changing girlfriends more than he ate. Xiaolong, on the other hand, was different. As the rising star of the third generation of House Kong, he had too much hope placed on him from a young age. Although he wanted to date and find a girlfriend, he was a man of great self-control and ambition. He gave up on love without hesitation, even if there was a girl he liked. He'd off. He Kong. Kong Don. He Li up. He of Ming Shan. He did all. This was the main reason why Dr. Kong thought so highly of him. He didn't understand why Dr. Kong brought up his marriage. Haha, it doesn't matter if you have a girlfriend or not. I've arranged a marriage for you, and the girl is very pretty. It's a big family. What do you think, Xiaolong? Dr. Kong asked. Isn't this a little too fast? Grandpa, I haven't finished my doctorate yet. Xiaolong was startled. It was too sudden. It's not fast. You're already a doctorate. Many people bring their kids with them. I even had a second uncle when I was your age. Dr. Kong waved his hand. Xiaolong, you have to understand that this marriage is very important to our Kang's reputation in the upper class. Even though we've made a name for ourselves with golden creation, we're still a merchant family with a miracle formula. I may be called Dr. Kong, but that's just out of respect. I'm not a miracle doctor at all. So if House Kong wants to rise to the ranks of the big families, other than working hard ourselves, we have to connect with other families through marriage. Of course, those big families don't care about us. They don't want to connect with us through marriage. But some of the poor families are more than happy to do it. But no matter how poor they are, they were once big families. They have a certain level of status and prestige. As long as we're together, House Kong will rise. It's all up to you, Grandpa. Xiaolong nodded after some hesitation. If that was the case, then his marriage with the other side would be the key to House Kang's success. He'd become a hero, and his position in House Kong would rise as well. This was a good thing for him. Xiaolong only hesitated for a moment before agreeing. Grandpa, which family? Yanjing's Xiao family. Dr. Kong said. The Xiao family's elder Xiao was a little muddle-headed in his later years. He signed a couple of fraudulent contracts, pretty much giving away most of the Xiao family's assets. The Xiao family's brothers were in a mess, and in order to protect the Xiao family's position, the only option was to connect through marriage. There was one more thing Dr. Kong didn't say. It was that House Kong wanted to rise to the ranks of the big families, and the two families would be a perfect match. All right, I have no objections. Xiaolong nodded. All right, since you've agreed, I've brought the picture of the girl. Have a look. If it's okay, I'll send the betrothal gift. Dr. Kong said. We'll find a date to hold the engagement ceremony and confirm it. Our family's reputation will rise as well. Even though the Xiao family doesn't have much money now, they still have their connections in the business world. House Kang's medical group can use their connections to expand on a large scale. All right, Grandpa, I'll arrange it. Xiaolong nodded. It didn't matter if the girl was pretty or not. The important thing was that Xiaolong's position in House Kong would be confirmed through this marriage. If she wasn't pretty, then he'd accept it. If she was pretty, then he'd just take it. This is the girl's picture. If you like it, you can go talk to her yourself. You young people should be able to get along well. Dr. Kong said as he passed a picture to Xiaolong. Even though she's not from the same family, the girl's father isn't someone to be underestimated. He runs a medical chain company in Songshan, and he'll be our helper. Xiaolong was overjoyed. He didn't think that the girl's family would be so good. His position in House Kong would be even greater. Xiaolong took the picture and glanced at it casually, but his eyes couldn't move away. Chapter 416. About Lin Ebro, I'll give you some advice. Kong Mingming went over curiously, wanting to see what his future sister-in-law looked like. One look, and he realized that his bro had really hit the jackpot. Why wasn't he the one getting married? How unlucky. Bro, you've hit the jackpot. I've seen countless girls in my life, and this is one of the best. Out of all the girls I know, only that bitch Tang Yin can compare to her. The worst part is that Kong Xiaobo got her before I even got her. Everyone in the family knew what kind of person Kong Mingming was, so they just laughed it off. Xiaolong, on the other hand, was really happy. Even his playboy brother said it was good. It had to be a goddess. Don't worry, we'll find you a good one in the future, Xiaolong said to Kong Mingming. But you're better than me. I'll only have one in my life. How many do you have already? Haha, of course. Kong Mingming didn't feel ashamed at all. Instead, he felt proud. But Kong Mingming's actions were nothing compared to his contributions to the family. Dr. Kong and the others didn't think that Kong Mingming was sick in the head. It'd be a waste if one wasn't a playboy. Xiaolong was a good student, and Kong Mingming was a playboy. They weren't lonely in the family. Xiao Xiao rushed into a clothing store with her hair dripping wet under everyone's weird gazes. She bought a new set from the inside out before driving to the nearest hotel, taking a hot shower and changing into a new set of clothes before heading back to school angrily. She didn't want to let Lin Yi go, but she didn't know Lin Yi's trump card. Lin Yi looked like he was a good fighter, and his reflexes were super fast, too. She'd been discovered the moment she snuck into the washroom. No wonder Pinliang and Zhou Ruoming weren't his match. This was evident from the fact that he was Meng Yao's bodyguard. Ping Zhan wouldn't have hired him if he wasn't strong enough. It seemed that he had to thoroughly understand Lin Yi before he made his next move. Otherwise, it was very likely that he would suffer a great loss again. With that thought, Xiao Xiao decided to ask Pinliang and Zhou Ruoming about Lin Yi. When Xiao Xiao got back to school, Pinliang and Xiaofu had just finished changing as well. They'd been kneeling in the toilet for a long time, and their pants were quite dirty. Lil sis Xiao Xiao. Pinliang didn't want to, but he couldn't pretend that he didn't see her at the school gates. Otherwise, things would get worse. You two, get over here. Xiao Xiao pointed at Pinliang and said coldly. Pinliang and Xiaofu's hearts skipped a beat. Could it be that Lin Yi didn't keep his promise and told Xiao Xiao about what happened? The two were scared out of their wits. They carefully walked up to Xiao Xiao and smiled. Lil sis Xiao Xiao, what's wrong? It's not our fault. We didn't know that Lin Yi would turn around all of a sudden. That's not what I wanted to talk to you about. Xiao Xiao frowned, a little unhappy. She didn't even mention it. Why did you bring it up? What was the meaning of this? Were you trying to humiliate her? Ugh. Then Lil sis Xiao Xiao is looking for us. Pinliang let out a breath of relief after hearing Xiao Xiao's words, but he was also a little fearful. It seemed like he'd been an idiot. How could he just bring up something as embarrassing as Xiao Xiao's? Of course, she wouldn't be happy about it. Get Zhou Ruoming here, too. I have something to talk to you guys about, Xiao Xiao ordered. Ugh. Okay, I'll go get him now. Xiaofu volunteered. He was Pinliang's henchman. How could he let Pinliang run errands for him? Zhou Ruoming was actually quite easy to find. He played basketball almost every day, and Xiaofu could spot him easily. Ming bro, over here. Xiaofu called out to Zhou Ruoming. What's up? Zhou Ruoming was about to go in for a layup when Xiaofu called out to him. He jumped up in fright and let go of the basketball, displeased. Can't you wait until I'm done? Lil sis Xiao Xiao's looking for you. Xiaofu said. Fuck, why didn't you say so earlier? Zhou Ruoming jogged over, a shocked expression on his face. You two idiots. You pissed off Lil sis Xiao Xiao this morning, and now you're dragging me down with you. You're so mean. Zhou Ruoming knew a thing or two about what happened to Xiao Xiao this morning. Pinliang didn't go into detail, but it was obvious that Xiao Xiao was taken advantage of, and so Zhou Ruoming was quite afraid to go see her. It's fine. Lil sis Xiao Xiao didn't mention that, so don't bring it up. I think she's just asking us about Lin Yi. You'll know when you get here, Xiaofu said. Let's go. Don't let Lil sis Xiao Xiao wait too long. All right, I'll go now. Zhou Ruoming nodded and left the school gates with Xiaofu. Xiao Xiao brought them to a coffee shop beside the school and got straight to the point. Why don't you guys tell me about Lin Yi? I'm sure you guys know about how I got taken advantage of by Lin Yi today. This Lin Yi guy doesn't look like a normal person. Zhou Ruoming looked at Pinliang and Xiaofu. Logically speaking, what happened to Lin Yi was a nightmare and a humiliation to them. Everyone had been dealt with by Lin Yi in different ways, and it was a little embarrassing to talk about it now. What? You don't want to talk about it? Xiao Xiao frowned. And no. Pinliang and Xiao Xiao were in the same class, and they'd seen each other all the time. He didn't want to piss her off. I'll talk first. When Lin Yi first transferred here, he kicked me in the face. I wasn't happy, so I wanted to get back at him. And so Pinliang started talking about his grudge with Lin Yi all the way until Heibao Bro came to school and got his face stepped on by Lin. So you're saying that even gangsters aren't his match? Xiao Xiao was a little surprised. She'd already guessed that Lin Yi wasn't weak, from how he pushed the cart with one arm, but she didn't expect Lin Yi to be this strong. Even the gangsters with guns were beaten to the point of looking for their teeth on the ground. Of course, Pinliang didn't tell her about Heibao Bro breaking through to Golden Class. She'd be even more shocked if Heibao Bro still wasn't a match for Lin Yi. Chapter 417. Chapter 417, Car Accident. Xiao Xiao was speechless. She'd wanted him to have some conflict with Lin Yi today, but now it seemed like he didn't dare do anything to Lin Yi at all. It's a little embarrassing, but it's the truth. In this school, no, even with the gangsters in society, I'm sure no one can do anything to that Lin Yi kid. He's not even scared of guns. Pinliang tried to explain himself. Since you're not afraid of embarrassing yourself, then I'll tell you. Zhou Ruoming sighed as he started complaining. I got slapped by Lin Yi in front of so many students, and even the dean. What could I do? I couldn't beat him, he's so arrogant. Xiao Xiao was getting dizzy. It seemed like her investigation wasn't enough. Lin Yi was so strong, and she still had to fight him head-on? That was impossible. It seemed that fighting head-on wasn't going to work. She was a pretty fierce girl, but Lin Yi was even fiercer. Xiao Xiao didn't have the confidence to do anything to Lin Yi after hearing what Pinliang and Zhou Ruoming said. This Lin Yi doesn't have any weaknesses. Xiao Xiao frowned. Do you guys know if Lin Yi has a weakness? Weakness, Zhou Ruoming said, troubled. Probably Tang Yin. If you touch her. Ha ha. Lil sis Xiao Xiao, why don't you do some research and get Tang Yin for me? I'll do it for you. Zhou Ruoming still didn't want to give up on Tang Yin. He didn't get to fulfill his wish last time, since Lin Yi ruined it, but he still hoped that he could have Tang Yin for himself. He didn't believe that Lin Yi would kill him. What was done, and Lin Yi wouldn't be able to do anything. Tang Yin would just follow him obediently. And Lin Yi probably wouldn't make things difficult for him for Tang Yin's sake. No. Xiao Xiao rejected him flatly. She wanted to cause trouble for Lin Yi, but she wanted Lin Yi to give in and teach her how to fight and drive. If she really did anything to Tang Yin, then Lin Yi wouldn't be able to teach her anything, and the two would become mortal enemies. Ugh, then I have no other choice. Zhou Ruoming shook his head. I don't have any good ideas myself. Pin Liang didn't know what Lin Yi's weakness was. He would have done it himself if he knew. Xiao Xiao cursed the two of them inwardly. They were useless, a waste of time. On the way back to school with Tang Yin, they were on the fast lane on the left. He didn't expect to bump into someone who was going against the traffic when they got on the viaduct. Lin Yi frowned. There were cars on the left and right, and changing lanes was impossible. Even if he didn't think about himself, he had to think about Tang Yin. Lin Yi turned on the high beam, wanting the car to go back to the right lane. But what Lin Yi didn't expect was that the car didn't slow down and go back. Instead, it copied Lin Yi and flashed the high beam, and it was a modified hernia lamp. If it weren't for Lin Yi's good eyesight, he would have been blinded. Lin Yi had no other choice. If this continued, the two cars would crash into each other. Tang Yin was already screaming in fear. Lin Yi suddenly turned the steering wheel to the right and pulled the handbrake. The van swerved in a beautiful arc, and the back of the van smashed into the front of the car. Although Lin Yi had carefully controlled the angle and force, there was still a loud sound. Tang Yin, on the other hand, was fine. Zhou Tiandi had just gotten a brand new BMW a few days ago, and his son had given him a custom license plate. It was a very cool license plate, SBSBSB. At first, Tiandi wanted a license plate that was all 8s. He thought that Zhou Ruoguang's license plate didn't have any 8s or SXS in it, and it was all in Western languages. But Zhou Ruoguang said that 888 and 00544 weren't popular anymore. Those were outdated. License plates nowadays were about individuality. Only with a personalized license plate would it be cool when you go out. The 888 and 666 on the street didn't have as many people turning their heads to look at them. The only ones that did were the SBSBSB. Tiandi didn't think much about it. Since his son said that the license plate was cool and unique, then he'd use it. What he didn't expect was that it really was cool. Almost 100% of the people on the street turned their heads to look at him, and some even took out their phones to take pictures of him enviously. This satisfied Tiandi's vanity. There were even 2 drivers on the street who got too excited when they saw his license plate and crashed into each other. This gave Tiandi an indescribable sense of honor. Even when he was driving on the wrong side of the road, many cars would make way for him. No one dared to fight him head-on. But today, some idiot had crashed his brand new car. Tiandi panicked, jumping out of the car to pull on Lin Yi's door. Get the fuck out of the car. Are you blind or what? Do you even know how to drive? I have such a cool license plate. How dare you crash it? Lin Yi paused. He didn't expect someone to be this cocky, even when driving on the wrong side of the road. He couldn't help but look at the license plate and almost burst out laughing when he saw it. What a unique license plate. What are you laughing at? There's no use laughing, you little bastard. You ruined my new car. Pay me 100,000 kwai, or you're not leaving. Tiandi was having a great time, planning on taking his car out for a walk whenever he had nothing better to do. But Lin Yi crashed his car into it. How many days would it be before he could show off his cool license plate? You crashed my car on the wrong side of the road? And you're asking me for money? Lin Yi was speechless as he looked at the familiar-looking man in front of him. Where had he seen him before? Lin Yi's memory wasn't bad, but it wasn't worth remembering small fries and small fries. He couldn't remember who this small fry was. How much is a bun like you worth? Don't think I don't know that you crashed my car on purpose, trying to drift with me. I'm telling you, it's no use. If you don't pay me today, don't even think about leaving. Tiandi didn't lack money, but he was pissed off today. He wanted to make things difficult for Linny, who told him to crash his cool car. All right, stop wasting time. You crash my car, and I'm not asking you for money anymore. Let's go our separate ways. I'm in a hurry. He got out of the car and looked at his van. There was only a dent in the back, so he smashed it a few times and straightened the metal. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.